Hey, welcome everybody to Friday Night in the Crib. I was waiting a little while to get some people to join, and plenty of room in case anybody else would like to join. Links on the right-hand side. But let me go ahead and introduce everybody. We're going to talk about, there's a lot of issues going on with the game as far as the change to the 3-month, back to the 3-month cycle, what's going on with the protos, what's going on with the as far as the change to the 3-month back to the 3 month cycle. Somebody can mute their tubes. Protos, what's going on with the as far as the I'm gonna mute you, Benjamin.
All right.
Okay. Okay, I think it sounds like it was John. Okay. I didn't mute you yet. Alrighty. I was gonna mute you both, but we figured it out. But feel free to join, and because we'll also talk about the effectiveness of the new witch doctor, because it seems like somebody was getting hit during the pre-show a couple minutes ago. And but I'll go ahead and introduce everybody from left to right. Toxic.
G'day everyone, and yes, it was my base that got sunk.
And Magic Mike.
Hello, everybody.
And Benjamin.
Hello.
Six Pack. I think that's who's there. He's on mute though. And this is Hefe. So again, anybody would like to join, the link is still on the right-hand side. So why don't we start with the easy stuff? What does everybody think about the, well, not really easy, but what does everybody think about, we had this whole, it felt like a shell game. We're like, okay, we're going to take Garrison out and make this just part of the FM and update the FM all the time. And then we're going to convert everything to a 4-month cycle. And then now we're going to take it back to a 3-month cycle, because before we wanted to have everything happen every year. It just seems like things flipped and flopped on us quite a bit. And we're also going to have to build 2 hulls at the same time. Or potentially. We're not supposed to, but you know, if everybody remembers the Phoenix Skyfire issue, where we were supposed to be able to hit the targets with either ship, it turned out at some point that some targets were next to impossible to hit with one fleet versus the other, even though that wasn't their intention, but it was the way they designed the targets.
And guess what? Didn't they kind of say the same thing again? You can take your pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get to pick one of the new hulls this next raid. And they're supposed to, either hull is supposed to be able to be built as a skill or auto hull. And it's not going to matter which hull you pick. That makes no sense to me.
But yes, I think part of the assumption is because it's skirmish that we're going to see one sub and one surface ship. We've never seen a sub that can auto things. That's the only dividing line that I can potentially see as far as how they're going to do this and make them both be able to perform in the same targets and da-da-da-da. But with the Hunter and the Fangtooth, they divided those into 2 different trees as far as the targets that you would hit.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking too much into this, but let's just say there's one ship, and that ship you can have, just as I'm just saying stuff now. You can have a missile or a mortar on it. Now the missile will work good in one target, and the mortar will work good in the other target. Okay, so you can then see, but it will do both targets, one with more repair, one with less. But what confuses me is that we have 2 ships that, I mean, you got to have 2 weapons. There's got to be 2 weapons. And you've got 2 ships, so you've got 4 possibilities to build. So do we have to build 4 different hulls?
Well, my assumption is in the next raid, what we're going to see is on one side, we're going to see the Bat Ray and what is it? The Bat Ray and the Dark Wing, or what are they? No, the Dark Wing is the CIC.
Darkwing to CIC.
Yeah, I got
think
no idea what it's called.
Bat Ray and Razor Tail.
Yeah.
And so one is going to be potentially a sub with torpedoes, and the other one's going to be a surface ship with depth charges. That's my assumption because it's skirmish and what they've done before, but I could be wrong. They could be coming completely out of left field with this.
So that means that unless you got a sub like the Gluttony that can fire on land from underwater,
Mm-hmm.
that there's no above water targets like as in land tiles. There can't be anything on land. If you got a sub with torps, it can't hit a building. It's impossible.
The definition of skirmish is moving ships and nothing else.
Yeah, but
that's the definition that was identified by GDR, who is gone, and they've broken a lot of things that he said previously. So yeah, I agree with your chuckle associated with that, but I'm assuming there's going to be 2 trees. These are going to be the main prizes that you gotta claim the Bat Ray or the Razor Tail, and then it'll have a special and a weapon associated with each one. That's my assumption. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't have any inside information on this. So yeah, and Cuttlefish is going by. He's going with Razor Tail because it sounds much cooler. Because and that's sort of the situation I think we're in, because we may see the stats for the ships and the weapon and the special and know what we have available, but at this point in time, they haven't talked about showing us the target. So, or the potential targets. We don't know what the targets look like. So we're only seeing one half of the equation based on what they've told us so far.
That's right.
So I didn't like that Wrong Thinker was like that. He thought they're taking a huge risk and we're making a promise that everything's going to work out because we're only allowing you to have one at a time. It's also putting that I'm not sure if he's taking a larger risk or the players that are invested that want to keep on playing aren't they at the same sort of risk that they get this right? And them getting things right is not always what happens, in my experience.
Well, what I think of this is, if there is a sub in a surface ship, then you got the choice, or right away, do you take the sub or the surface ship? I for sure will not take the sub. If I don't have to drive a sub, I'm a happy I'm a happy Larry.
Mm.
So that's already good that I don't have to buy the sub, but I don't have to build it. Well, so they say. But on the other hand, I'm a bit worried that if I get the other ship, then I might be able to do the one target good, and then I'm going to take a whole heap of damage, or I have to build a second fleet of that with different weapons and different specials to do the other target. That's what's in the back of my mind.
So you kind of thinking Hunter Fang scenario?
Well, the Hunter Fang scenario was a little bit different because they divided the raid targets. Those were different raid targets because you couldn't enter one and do the other in the S sense. It would just blow you off the water. But that's why I keep on bringing up the Phoenix Skyfire comparison, because you were supposed to be able to do both equally. And one raid, the Phoenix ruled, and you couldn't get shit done with the Skyfire. And then the next raid, the Skyfire ruled, and you couldn't get shit done with the Phoenix.
Right.
But that was not their, or at least stated intention. It was just the way the targets were designed, and that scares me a little bit. And the other part that scares me is we don't realize, because how many tokens are going to be made available through TLCs and other things for these ships individually or together. And one may have more tokens available. are there going to be enough tokens to do both of them with our generic tokens, with the ones we get in the TLC, and our natural build time to get both of them done? Because in the statement that was made, that you can do one, and it's a life choice or a quality of life choice in order to do the second one, but you're going to have to pay for that one. And that's what they put into the statement about the skirmish cycle, and that's sort of it's honest, it's truthful, but I don't think we have enough information to evaluate at this point because we don't know how many tokens are going to be available. Is it going to be possible to get both of them done before everything's taken care of? And along with the Proto Apollo that they're still appearing to want to put out, but this is going to be the last one in the Proto series. And we still don't know the role of the Proto Tideseeker moving forward.
I'm not gonna bother with any of the proto. I've built some of them, and it doesn't really work. Not worth all the extra time that you have to spend in the shipyard. So I just do map targets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same here. I mean, send my fleet out, auto the map targets for base parts, whatever. The protos are a waste to me. They always have been.
I'm still using fangs.
Hello? Okay.
Yeah, I'm using proto tides to do just 57s and just let them auto those because they can do them for instant.
So they'd be good for.
Otherwise, it's fangs.
Yeah, I mean, I found in the TLCs that were released after we got the free Proto Tideseeker, I found it to be quite useful as far as getting the TLCs done in time. I was mixing that one Proto Tideseeker with some hunters. Now I'm close to have 5 Proto Tideseekers, not done and not completely ranked or anything like that. But I'm gonna have 5 of them done because I already have 2 fleets of mana cores built. There's not much to build at this point because the way they set the cycle up, and I'm wondering if that's why they're changing things back. We're getting rid of the 4-month cycle, and we're doubling the requirements as far as ships go. I mean, we've gone from one extreme to another where people are able to build a lot of things for free as far as PvE goes. But now we're taking away a month, and we're potentially doubling the amount of build time. We need more information, I think, as a community to feel comfortable with both ships are going to work, type of thing. Because they haven't really made that work historically.
That's correct.
So,
I always plan on having to do both because
Mhm.
it's just inevitable.
yeah. And okay, we're done with this part of things. How does everybody feel about the bounty upcoming and the new turrets that have been made available? We don't have to confine it to just the corrosive turrets, because now everybody also has the ability to have 8 explosive turrets as well. And so,
Well, as far as bounty, if there isn't a gotta have something in there, I'm not going to play it. I'll probably sit out.
yeah. Well, but I don't know. I mean, why would you sit up?
Well, it depends on what's in there. I don't know if I want the stress for the weekend.
Yeah.
It depends how they set it up. I mean, if it's exactly the same as it has been, I could go either way. if they start dinking around with, you know, the hit downs and all that, or what you can, if they lock you out, if they put fleets back in, stuff like that, just can't be asked. Because I'm not primarily a base hitter, so. But if there's something in there that'll really help my base defense, that might change it too.
Yeah, well, historically, we've been at least able to get, you know, a fair amount of points with just being there, not hitting anything, not doing anything besides locking things up, you know,
Sure enough.
claiming
Sure
drips and locking things up.
Mhm.
It really depends on, I don't know how you would put it, but, you
It
know,
depends
what
on
your
what changes they
expectations are
make,
as far
if
as
they
the
make
amount.
any changes.
Yeah, because there's going to be a concussive, all we know at this point, there's going to be a concussive flagship, or not flagship, Conqueror released. And we don't know anything more than that because that's the only one left.
Right.
Is like it?
I thought they were putting a defender hull in this bounty.
The next bounty, we're going to do that.
All right, so bounty 14.
Yeah. The bounty 5 weeks from now is going to have a defender in it, according to how they laid things out.
Okay, I was confused there. All right, then I get a free bounty off.
Yeah, but like we don't know. Maybe there's going to be the third type of explosive turret that's also going to be out there because we've got a shitload of the Catmorts. We have 2 of the cold snaps, and I would expect to see some sort of short range explosive released at this point in time.
Wait for
Or they could be doing what they did in the past, and we can start getting chain guns, where we start getting depth charges, concussive damage stuff at this point in time in the bounty. I'm not certain, you know, and then we'll see it released again, potentially in the raid again. I don't know how they haven't communicated that to us, but I would expect to see more than merely the Conqueror Hall. I mean, that would be my guess. So I would expect there's some stuff that would be out there because right now the penetrative and ballistic turrets are meh. They've been almost completely, not completely, but in a big way neutralized by the MC3 plate. And players don't have the ability to guard as much against explosive. So I could see, we've seen 3 legs of each one of them. You know, like the Halo is the equivalent to the, what's the mortar called? Neither one of them don't. What?
The catastrophic?
Catastrophic mortar, yeah.
Cat mortar.
And those both don't really do much.
Epic.
But then the rest of them do, you know, like the Cold Snap has the potential to do some damage because we don't have the armor to really deal with that at this point as far as explosive damage.
Alliance Crib.
Okay. Whoever's whispering to somebody, you're not. People can hear it. So
Sorry, that was me.
it's okay. Just letting you know. There's a mute button if in case you want to tell somebody. You know,
All right, I see it. I'm sorry.
No, that's no problem. Just letting you know in case you start to get into more intimate details of what's going on. It's just a word of the wise. Okay. Anybody have much else on bounty? Because we don't know the target limits at this point. You know, since they moved the free for all from 50 up to 80 plus, we don't know if players under level 80 or level 81 are even allowed to participate in bounty. What the replica base is, how that's going to work. There's a lot of information that has not been provided yet about the next bounty, in addition to the prizes, which we've already talked about. But the structure on what we can and cannot hit because it's going to be extremely difficult for a lot of players, because there's going to be limited 80 to 90s that potentially don't have a full suite of the corrosive turrets. And, you know, if Toxic is back, maybe he can talk about the fact that, you know, what a full fleet of witch doctors can do.
Oh no, it was one witch, and
Oh,
one
only
had
one.
the
Okay.
Was it one or two?
one. It was two. One was a normal witch, and one was one with that EMP thingy on it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And they look to be well built. I mean, I've only got 3 corrosives in at the moment, but yeah, it sat there for a while and didn't sink. Food for thought. Keep on building. That's what that means. It was a good hit. I enjoyed it. I didn't think it'd be as easy as that, but yeah, it was. So I have to put more of them turrets in.
Do you have any? Oh, okay. You don't have a full set of corrosive turrets.
No, I've got 2 adders and one of the scatterguns.
Oh, okay. That could change things significantly. The other thing that could change things significantly. Do you have any cold snaps in the new ones, the cold snap 2?
No, I've got one old one, but none of them are armored up. I haven't gotten the base parts yet. I've been lazy. I couldn't be stuffed up after that raid.
Okay, the EMP special, if they have been impacted by, they have the blue ring that comes from the cold snap, and the new cold snap has a range of 191, I think. It won't explode. It won't cause all that damage if you have the cold snap, if it's under the effect of the cold snap. And if you have multiple cold snaps, the 2 cold snaps working, it's not going to explode. So that part is negated by having 2 properly positioned cold snaps in your base.
Yeah, no, I've got an old one, but none of the new ones. I didn't get them. I got that EMP blast thing for my attacking fleet, and I didn't have enough points in that bounty, so I didn't get them. Should have not gotten that EMP blast, but hey, hindsight 20/20 vision, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, we talked about bounty. We talked about the 3-month cycle change and skirmish. The 2 ships. Is there anything else anybody feels like we should be discussing at this point? And again, everybody from chat, you're welcome to join.
1, 2. Is the mic working?
Yes.
Okay, I just didn't know whether it was coming through or not. Sorry, guys.
So good.
So I can't hear myself back through the headphones. I can hear you guys, but I couldn't hear myself coming back through.
Okay, that's an interesting.
You might have to mess with the settings on the.
Yeah. First time on Hangout, so.
No, it's no problem. Is there anything else you think that we ought to be covering at this point? Any issues you're going through, or any insights or issues?
Ironically, things have got a little quieter now because no one's hitting bases that much. Bounty, as you was just speaking about, could be a bit of a washout for most people, simply because of the new turrets that's in there. I mean, I was getting hit every day, sometimes a couple of times a day, and now I've had 1 peak this week. You know, I mean, I'm on level 124. My player name is Watchman.
Okay.
I need to change my icon, but yeah, it has been quiet. I mean, you know, I've tried to hit a couple of bases and got nowhere this week with the new turrets in. I'm working on tweaking a few fleets, but I don't know how well things are going to go yet. You know.
Okay.
But so I can see that, you know, rolling over into the bounty. If you've got these turrets in the bounty, if you've got the fleets in the bounty, which is always murder, because, you know, it was okay if you just had to get 50% of the base, you know, in the op. But I mean, when the fleets were in there and you had to kill them as well, it just became a massive chore, you know. But now you might, even if they take the fleets out with the turrets that are in there, I can't see bounty working in its current format. You know.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking that they may use the basis from last month bounty, so that there'd be no. But they can't really do that either. Can oh yeah, they could the replica basis they could, where there's no adders in it or no corrosive turrets, and just use the same base, but with a different layout.
I was going to
But I
say
don't
that
know.
they normally just like grab a load of players' bases that played the last bounty. Of course, so most of them guys are quite active, and you'd expect those replica bases to have all the new corrosive turrets in, or a good amount of them.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, the other thing that's going on at this point is, it appears there's going to be a new TLC on Tuesday that may impact bounty. I mean, I feel it's a little cheap to introduce something 2 days beforehand, because
Coin your refits.
we see some repetitive ones, but Heavy Metal Meltdown is not a campaign that we've seen historically. Hydra's Hollow, Path to the Continent, Turn the Tides, and Turrets of Terror. We have seen all those, but Heavy Metal Meltdown is a new one that I'm assuming is going to impact something new. I mean, I don't know. Anybody guess what Heavy Metal Meltdown means?
Well, it'd be corrosive armor in there, wouldn't it? You would think.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It'd be corrosive armor or something.
Yeah. I just hope that they aren't going to put at least a few tokens in, so that you can fix a couple of these on before the bounty without having the coin. That's my hope. I doubt it, but no, hoping.
I'm sitting on a load of tokens. I've still got last week's FM tokens, and I haven't even touched this week's ones yet. I'm just banking stuff.
Yeah, but you can't
got that problem.
Yeah, you can't expect to bring out if it is indeed armors, or whatever it is. You can't expect to bring it out day before the raid or the bounty and say, there you go, coin away, my friends.
Yeah, but you got about a day and a half refit on armors.
Yeah, that's roughly about day 10 to 1 day 17 hours, around about that.
Yeah, so it's more than a day and a half.
But that's exactly what they did with one of the flagships, wasn't it? Released it just before the raid, before the bounty. They've done this more than once. It's a player's first, money first option.
You're right, Jordy.
I mean, I've banked on it. I've told my alliance I've put out a minimum build for those that won the witch doctor, and said, don't put any armor on it yet. Wait, see what comes out. Save your tokens.
Mm-hmm.
It'll all change. I won tokens in the raid to do some refits on MSCs, etc. Again, park them all, waiting to see what's going on. And even then, I'm going to have to decide whether I invest in them then, or hold off and see what Tier 8 brings. There's too much going on to do anything for free or within planned time. It's going to we're in a period of almost enforced coining.
Well, I mean, where their players are flipping their bases around, dropping either sort of ballistic or penetrative. I mean, you need a couple of fleets, and hopefully you've built the right tank or something to get in there, or the right fleet to get in that can counter what they've got in their base. But I mean, it's a luck of the draw now. You know what I mean? Even if you can build a witch doctor that's got enough corrosive on it, it's still going to get wiped out by most of the other turrets in the base. You can't armor that up enough at the moment. I've looked at a tank, but it's still got weaknesses in a few places. I haven't seen them do well in any base, any good base.
I don't know. I haven't been hit in 2 months now, And I'm in a,
Lucky you.
I'm in a sector with KDE.
Yeah.
And they won't even hit me. But I mean, it's funny. People go after the lowest base they can. And I'm glad there is some protection for these people now, the gauntlet, but they should not be able to snipe us either.
I mean, I've always tried to hit quite higher bases, you know what I mean? Because I think it's more fun. It's more of a challenge trying to. If you lose, you lose, but at least you tried, you know?
Right.
But, you know, at the moment, I know that every top end base I'm going to go in is going to be armed to the teeth now, you know what I mean? And I don't have the deflection to get in them. So it is a waste of time. So I'm not bothering. You know, and the only time I'll hit lower level bases in the week is just to get my alliance points on a Monday. And so the rest of the week, I'm not doing much now, you know, because there's none of the top high-end bases which I enjoy trying to hit is going to be viable. You know, there isn't any tactical game in this, you know, at the moment. You're just absolutely getting melted. So...
Well, what I'm hoping for is with the new team in place at Kickside is to stabilize things. And then, you know, crap, what was I going to say? But to stabilize it, first of all, you know, have a path that they stay on instead of switching every couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, we all remember back in the day when you had sort of the DNXs, and you know, you could run around and do everything with those, and the game was much better balanced then, you know, because you could try and counter it, and then the people had gollies in their bases and stuff like that, and that was great fun. The balance was much better. It was just much better, and everyone was enjoying it, you know. And if they could look back at that, you know, and see what was happening, there was a lot more hitting going on. There was a lot more fun, you know, because we keep these mad swings from one extreme to the other. All of a sudden, everyone's hitting. The next thing, nobody's hitting, you know.
Yeah, but it was all percentage based. Then it's not none of this stupid deflection and over damage and all that sort of crap.
Well, not only that, back in the day, we had to be creative with our fleets. We were allowed to be creative. Now it's cookie cutters.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, most people end up just building the same thing. But the point is that, as it's been mentioned many times, because I watch the shows every week, and like there are so many specials out there. It's so confusing for people to know what to put on their ships. And the time it takes to build stuff, it's so expensive to make a mistake. You know, things do need itemizing or categorizing properly. This works with this, you know what I mean? Especially, you know, I've got quite a large alliance. We've got 89 players, and you know, and a lot of the guys, they're asking me and the others, you know, what do we build? And I sometimes look at it and I say, you know what, I've got fucking clues sometimes. You know what I mean? It's like I don't want to lead you down the wrong way. You know, you spend a week, 2 weeks building this ship, and it melts. You know, it's just confusing. I mean, you know, and I'm not a stupid person, but I can do math. But you know, I just find so some, you know, your average guy that comes on an hour or two a day and just does a few chores, and he needs a build, he wants a little bit of help, and you know, they haven't got a clue. They don't watch all the shows, they don't go on all the sites, you know, so they just want a little bit of guidance. But there's so much out there. They look in there, like, you know, in their base, and they look at all the specials and things like, which one of these do I use? You know, like, how the hell do I work this one out? You know, it needs to be simplified. You know,
It might need to be simplified, but it's not in their interest to simplify it.
I understand what you're saying, because if people take damage, hopefully they want you to coin it. But I mean, that's never been the well. When I'm base hitting, yeah, I do. You know, I'll sort of go and smash and, you know, repair on the map and carry on, yeah. But not everybody's like that, you know.
No, but it's not just that. They realise the error of their ways when they talk to people, and then they refit. So it's many options to coin based on confusion.
Oh yeah.
You know, everything's got a plus and a minus to it. I mean, yeah, that new the new level block that stops below 80s getting hit. That's great for a lot of people that are under level 80. But how many realistically are there?
Yeah.
I know that its biggest effect probably has been that a lot of dead bases now want targets for people to get easy free, damage free ally points on a Monday. So real live players are having to hit and take damage in both defense and offense.
Yeah, it's had that effect. I mean, I never hit below level 80 anyway.
Why did we go from a previous baseline of 25, then 50, and not 75? You know, the mathematical increase doesn't seem logical or nice and round in my brain. They probably worked out how many people there were that could get the best percentage of making dead bases unattainable for easy alliance points.
Well, I know historically when they decided on the 50 level and they were trying to move it up, they looked at this was years ago. This was 4+ years ago. They looked at how many bases would be available for the higher level players to even hit. You know, was there enough bases to be hit? But that was when base levels were much more evenly distributed, as opposed to right now. I mean, there's probably more 129s than active players between level 50 and 80. Don't you think?
Oh yeah. We haven't had like the new players coming in, new blood.
Yeah.
Do you think they can fix it?
Not by level. They got to do it with a fleet. They got to do it like a level 5,000 fleet can't attack a level 70 base. They got to do it something like that.
Yeah, but the problem that I see is that all your top level guys all have the same fleet. So all we're doing is trading hits back and forth until Kickside breaks it one way or the other. I think what we're seeing now is the participation trophies for everyone. And I think that's the problem with the game. PvP is broken, and no matter what they do, their method of fixing it is strong hulls or strong bases. Right?
Right now, yeah.
Or rapid swings back and forth.
But that's what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
Hefe, is strong fleets or strong bases. It swings back and forth. There can't be parity because then there's still no purpose to hit. But again, if your top level players or your coiners or the people that spend the time and do understand the Kickside math to build it, they're all going to come to the same conclusion. This boat in this base will win. This base can kill that boat, so they can't get in. We're fighting a losing battle until they break the chain of monotony that we're in. And I don't know that they know that. I think they love it because they have enough people spending a lot of coin going both directions.
Yeah, I totally agree, Ron.
I mean, until we all say the game is broken and fix it, and we get enough people to not do whatever it is they do, it's not going to be fixed. And I'll tell you what, I'm bored. I got hit today by Mikey Breda. He's a great hitter. I didn't even want to repair my base.
You must be in the 200s.
Yeah, we are. We jumped over. I didn't even want to come on tonight because I'm bored of it. But I have a lot of friends here, and I've got a lot of time invested. I've got a lot of other stuff invested. and I'm seriously to the point to where I think I could walk away.
So how would you fix it, Rum? What would you suggest? I mean,
First of all, you cannot be giving every single player. Go back and watch some of these movies like War Dogs or whatever it's called, where you have people that are selling arms to both sides. That's exactly what they're doing. They're selling the same weapon to both sides. There is no technical advantage. There is really no strategy or strategical advantage. So they've gotten themselves into a place to where, honestly, I don't know if they can get out unless they quit giving everybody the same weapon. But then the player base revolts, like we get into, and we were talking about last week with the bounty. Well, you took my bounty, now I can't get my points. Everybody feels like they have the right to get the same powerful weapons, regardless of what level they are.
that's true. Yeah, I agree with that, Rum.
I mean, I don't want to be negative about this, but that's the way I feel right now, because all these talks and all these changes and everything they want to do, we're still back to the same place we were in 2016. We're not moving forward. Now, I know they made these promises, and I know they keep saying, okay, we're just going to dump all this PvP stuff out here. But what we're all doing is we're accepting it, we're coining it, and we're playing, and we're getting frustrated because there's no change.
Well, the thing is we're not coin at the moment, you know, because
Some people are, though. Some people are. It's the same turkeys voting for Christmas over and over again.
That's it.
I mean, I would, you know, I normally go out on sort of have a few drinks, go on a rampage, you know, go and hit a few dozen bases. At the moment, I'm not, and neither are, you know, I'm not seeing it. I'm not.
Thank
seeing
you. Thank you. You're proving my point. You're proving the point that I'm making straight up by just agreeing with what I'm saying. You're not hitting bases. You're not doing anything because there is no point in it.
That's it. So they must be seeing a drop in revenue this week, because you know it's not me. I mean, you can multiply me by 1,000 players. You know what I mean? That are not hitting a base, coining a repair, going back to hitting the next base, hitting the next base. You know, rinse, repeat, and they're going to see that, and they're going to see a drop in revenue. You know.
Yeah,
But-
I'm
but
tired.
that-
I'm tired of butting my head against the wall, fighting the same battle month after month after month. We did it with the MSC. We did it with the IFRIT. We did it with the whatever it is called. You know, just pick your boat. Name your boat. It's the same thing. Here's a boat. Here's how you hit a base this week. Whoops, here's a turret that's going to kill that boat. Here's how you stop that boat.
Yeah, see, it tells me that you guys, you two guys, you coin a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not. I don't I mean I coin minimally,
Okay,
like
but
10, 20, $30 a month, right?
and
So the problem.
I am not being negative on that at all. I really do applaud the fact that you can stay with this game. When's the last time you were able to hit a medium to high level base successfully?
Well, that's what I'm just getting at. Like for me, who doesn't coin a lot, I can't hit. I mean, I can hit him, but I'll just get smashed. And the problem for me is I have to then go and refit my fleet. Now, if I don't coin it, it takes a long time to put different armor and put this different. So by the time I got the fleet back to where I can hit the base, something has freaking changed.
Exactly.
And I get sunk again, and I have to do the same thing again. You know?
Again, you're proving my point. You're proving it to a T. You cannot be viable if you don't coin. You can go out and hit other similarly level bases that don't coin, and that may be fun. But anytime anybody wants to come smash your base, they can.
Yeah, totally agree. It works for the.
I can take 2 fleets now, and 3 or 4 hits where it previously took 1.
Jordy, I agree. I think part of the problem is right now is the sloth has been around so long, and the sloth is still key to killing a base. There aren't very many mid to low level or mid to whatever you want to call them, mid-level coiners, mid-level bases that you can't kill with a good sloth fleet. All you have to do is send a boat into the middle, and if they don't have the turrets, there's not a damn thing that base can do about it. that player.
Right. Here's another thought, Rum. One of the most recent tactics, a fleet of impact cruisers going in till almost dead to prep out, then followed by the sloth and one boat getting severely damaged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe this, or in some cases,
Well, we've got back to the
you kill the second fleet as well because they move around and you have a cleverly placed turret and bang, their sloths go. So if you've got to the point where a coiner is using 2 fleets to hit 1 base, where previously you're using 1, then you only need half as many people hitting bases to generate the same revenue as previously.
well, okay, and my stupid ideas keep coming back to me in my head. What stops war? In real life, what stops war?
Everybody having the same weapons.
Well,
Totally
no.
mutually assured destruction.
Not a nuclear war.
Mutually assured destruction, or the fact that you can't stomach the losses that you take anymore.
Yeah.
You've lost enough of your infrastructure. You've lost enough of your people. You get to the point to where you want to surrender. That's where the game is. People don't want to fight because you got a coin to stay up. So you go into a base, you lose a fleet, provided you can't one-hit somebody. So you have to coin your fleet back.
But
and you keep doing it over and over again. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, it's all right. It's a point I've made many times before. The point you're talking about is different for every player because of the time and resource and finance they want to put into it. So this has been creeping. This is one of the reasons you see the fade from the lower end upwards and people slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said all the time that the pace of new tech coming out, everything else, has increased exponentially over the last 2 years because the bits and bobs coiners aren't coining. So that requires the next man up to be made to coin more till he gets past it. And so it goes on till you get to the point where the big coiners start feeling it and they go, whoa, hold on.
So we're back to the same point we get every week when we start talking about this. How do they fix it, or how do we fix it?
Do they want to fix it is the other one.
No, as long as they have people on both sides of the game coining. See, the other thing that I was going to get to a while ago when I stopped speaking was the fact that that's why we have so many PvE players right now, is because they can't PvP. Given a choice, all things being equal, and it didn't cost any coin, would you rather fight Kix, or would you rather fight me and my strategy?
Always hit bases.
Most people
would rather hit bases. Most people would.
I don't know where you get that stat from. I really don't. I think that's rubbish, to be honest.
You think more people want to fight Kix and give them whatever?
Yeah, my goal's always to do it for the least amount of money. And so Kix are my enemy.
Yeah, but see, Kixeye just does whatever. Kixeye can't be beat.
Oh yeah, but do it. Sure.
That's what's always killed it for me is that when I can't, if I've spent money to build a fleet to do a PVE and then I'm penalised by unmitigatable damage, that really annoys me.
Let me ask you a question. Isn't that what we're facing right now?
Well, it is, and that again is part of the crunch because coin isn't being generated elsewhere, so they have to get it everywhere.
See, I think the majority, and whether it's 51% or 65% or it's 90%, I don't care. I still think that the majority would rather base it if they knew how.
I don't think so at all. I'd rather be doing fleet versus fleet than anything. When I started the game out.
Yeah, but let's talk. Let's be serious, Jordy. That's player versus player. Fleet versus fleet is player versus player.
Yeah, but that is dead. And going back to the start of the game, there was no base hitting.
Right.
You were using fleet versus fleet.
Right.
You've used the point of realism before.
Right.
Realism. Pirates aren't renowned for their ship versus land actions.
No, you're right. Absolutely, you're right.
So I understand a raiding party and all that, and getting booty and all the rest of it. But really, if it should be more ship versus ship.
I
But
think
but
so.
re-
I
really,
enjoy that as well.
what you guys talking about is really only half the problem. The other half of that problem is that for it doesn't matter whether you're a big coiner or a little coiner. You have to participate in the raid to get your stuff. You have to participate in the bounty to get your stuff. You have to participate in the FM to get your stuff. I mean, after last bounty, I didn't play this week at all. I just couldn't be bothered. It's just it's total burnout. There's too much to do, and I don't know. It's just too much. It's too much. You got a coin here, coin there, coin bases and whatnot.
Yeah, but you get to the
It's
same point.
yeah.
You
To
start
hit
taking
the nail on the head, though, Toxic. To be able to do PvP, well, I mean, all right, bounties come in this last year, but prior to that, you had to be proficient at PvE to get the equipment to do PvP.
Mhm.
So that the prime requisite is PvE, regardless.
PVE means
And the only reason why that is because that's where the PvP equipment was released. If they released that same equipment from base hits, let's say you go hit 2 or 3 bases, you do a good enough job, you get Turret X as a gift or a prize for doing so well. That's how people would get it. So more people would be base hitting.
You would
But
see
they changed the
you'd see game
focus.
die.
Huh?
You'd see the game die.
Well, but see, but you're still. I don't think you see the point that I'm trying to make because possibly I'm not making it clear. The reason why people became so proficient at PvE was because, to some extent, that's where you got the PvP equipment from.
Yeah, absolutely.
If there weren't any PvP equipment in a PvE environment, what's going to happen? You
Well,
divide the game in half.
I wouldn't have been in the game 7 years if you'd been getting it from base hits. Seriously, because you think about the repair time and the loss of research, etc. There was back when we started. Yeah, not what they're dealing with now. Instant repair on your labs, etc.
Well, but you also have to give Kixeye the respect to say that they would have reacted differently.
Well,
So
yeah, but
things
still,
in the game would be different.
even now, people complain about a 20-hour repair if a fleet's sunk on the
Sure.
map. You think about logging off if your base isn't in a state where it can defend itself when you're offline. You go offline, and 10 minutes later you hit, and you're off for 8 hours.
But Jordy,
You've
that's the state of the fleet.
50 hours. You've lost 50
Doesn't
hours.
make any difference. That's the state of the fleets.
But it does, because if people are prepared to whinge about sniping and losing fleets for 20 hours, a good bet, all part of the game. I understand it, but you have to compare opposite ends of the argument to find a middle. And
Well,
a
but
base,
I consider a base hit where you can't stop somebody the same thing as being sniped. I'm sorry, that it's the same to me.
yeah. Well, I would imagine there's a lot of people out there that haven't cut. I like to put a coefficient on it of if you do 8 hours damage to me, I'm taking at least 8 hours or more back to try and put you off coming back. And if that means sinking your fleet, then I'm sinking your fleet. It's all about time. The game's about time.
But here we go again.
50 hours off me. I
Jordy,
want 50 hours.
I respect you. I respect your opinion, but turn it around. Okay, you're mad at me because I hit your base that you can't defend. You bring a junk fleet and sink my prime fleet. I'm mad at you because I can't do that. So what is my option? I can build another fleet to go sink your fleet, or I can continue to hit your base.
And then I continue sniping. That's the way.
But see, and what happens? That rewards kicks for shit strategy.
Yeah.
Well, there's been hints that that's going to be finished. That's going to be over.
Yeah, and what are you going to do, Jordy, whenever they take that away, where you can't snipe a fleet?
I'll probably hang up. That'll be the last bit of FVF gone then.
Well, FVF was supposed to be, comparable fleets, not
Right.
chore fleets versus, yeah, they've fucked that up.
Yeah,
But
that-
they haven't fucked it up. Other than the target requirements mean that the thing they fucked up was player choice.
Yep.
Right? They made it specific that you need our flagship and 4 of the others fully armed to do a target. And in raid times and legendary and with a elite crew.
Mhm.
So you have no option to put out. I mean, the U.S. Navy doesn't send out a carrier without anti-submarine protection, and anti-long-range missile protection. Fleets convoys.
Well, they don't send out a
convoys
carrier without other submarines.
Exactly.
No, there's a whole armada that's involved, but
Exactly.
that's really neither here nor there. What they've created is a situation where you need to have all of these PvE fleets or PvE ships, and even if you throw one PvP ship, it's still going to get owned. 5-on-1. I mean, they've created a bad situation, and it's why a lot of people don't participate in PvP because of players going and sniping chore fleets associated with it. They broke this a long time ago when they separated PvE and PvP.
That was the point where they screwed the game up. And I agree with you 100%, Hefe, about the snipers. And do you know why they're all of a sudden going to do something about the snipers? Because it's costing them money.
Yeah. I mean,
I've never owned a snipe fleet.
Huh?
I don't own snipe fleets. Fuck it. If a fleet was to get sniped, and it's like a 20-hour repair, it'll repair for 20 hours. I'll come back tomorrow. Sod it.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why they're wanting to address it now, is because people are taking that attitude.
I don't give them money for what I call bad design.
Right. I agree. And that's where we are. Honestly. If somebody snipes my KDs, and I've said this before, and I laugh at them because I say, what good did that do you? Because I can take and put 1 coin repair, 10 cents to repair that KDs and run that KDs all day.
Yeah. I mean, but what happens if somebody snipes your Hydra fleet?
I get mad and I find a way to get even.
Yeah, and but in the meantime, you're paying kicks in order to do that, because I feel I think you agree, it's sort of a broken mechanic.
Sure it is. That's what I said. I agree with you 100%, and that's why they're addressing it.
I mean, it's the FM fleets, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're huge repairs. They put out a huge amount of FM points you have to get. People are out there running about all the time, and those fleets are 100% vulnerable to any sub out there on the map. You know what I mean? It's not a competition. It's shooting fish in a barrel. That isn't the game. If you're sniping fleets like that, what's the point? What is the point?
Ask Jordy, because Jordy does it.
It's not even subs. If some level 51 with 1 missile storm cruiser, he's going to run over your FM fleet. Then he's going to run over your siege fleet. He's going to run over everything, even with a suboptimal build, just because the way things have been, the way they created the game a couple of years ago, where they split things off. I mean, if you were hitting stuff with the MCXs, that MCX could defend itself. It could hit bases and it could do chores. And you threw a battle cruiser in front of it, or and it could defend itself against anything. At least would be a good fight.
Yeah.
Now it's not even close to a good fight. If somebody snipes your fleet, you might as well walk outside, get a beer, smoke a cigarette, watch a TV, do something else, because you're not going to do any damage to that that's significant. You're just going to die.
Yep.
But what are you gonna do? What can they do? I mean, if they were to reset the game to before deflection, so everything would be percentage based the way it used to be, what half the specials, or
well, but
half the specials, you wouldn't be able to use all that. It'd be
toxic. Let's take it a step further. If they reset the game to pre-deflection, think about all the money these people have put in these games, or in this game, based on the deflection and stuff. If they take that away, how pissed off are the people going to be? I'm going to
Yeah,
be
exactly.
tremendously pissed off, and I may never play again.
Yeah.
Exactly, but they've done it from percentage to deflection. They made every fleet that people have just coined the week before totally useless.
Yeah, they've
So
rebalanced.
people got upset, and the same thing's gonna happen if they do it again. So, but what other choice do they have? I don't know. I don't see another way that they can fix it.
The other choice is not allow certain fleets to hit other fleets.
Exactly.
Don't allow conquerors to hit
Yeah.
pretty much any other class besides defenders. I
Yep.
mean, that's probably what's in the works. That's my
doesn't do
assumption.
that sniping though, does it?
You should have fangs and stuff that are not conquerors, and they
No.
go and wipe.
It will cure sniping to a certain extent, because then you can't hit PvP or you can't hit PvE fleets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just bring
All you can do is hit something that stands a chance of killing you. So that brings skill back, which is fine. But the problem that we get into is when people go out and use these subs that can't be spotted or seen or whatever to kill the PvE. If those subs face death, that sniper typically learns to quit pretty quick. Trust me.
Yeah.
There's a guy by the name of Piffin that loves to come out and snipe fleets. When Sun and Rooster decide to make a concerted effort to end his day, they do it effectively.
Yeah, they're bringing up the point on the chat about the Fangtooth. And the thing that I think a lot of people noticed was the proto fleets, the Prototide and the Proto Centurion, seem to have some amount of defense against the Fangtooth. Because they put a huge amount of thermal on them. I mean, it's obvious with the Proto Seeker. I haven't built my Proto Centurion because who knows what they're doing with the Protos. But yeah, if you try to snipe somebody's Proto Seeker fleet, I mean, we could try it at some point.
Pepe, I agree with you, and I think that was a half-assed attempt to end sniping, was to bring the protos out, because if they made the protos good enough to be able to do the targets effectively to replace the other boats that couldn't, I think you basically end sniping. But not enough people jumped on and built them, so they were still losing the fleets they'd already built. There weren't enough tokens to build them to be competitive. I think you're exactly right there. I mean, I really do. Because the Prototides, the Proto Centurions, they see the subs. They can kill the subs.
Yeah.
But you notice your snipers don't go after those fleets. Your snipers go after the boats they can kill.
They don't see them on the map though. Only the Harlock's type. And the Prototide. It's a shame that the Prototide fleets can't see a sub on the map.
Yep.
Because that was the thing that it needed. I think that would just.
Yeah.
Well, and let's face it, if a sniper sees enough of those boats on the water, they're going to put their toys up and wait till they're not there. Think about targets of opportunity. When the day the FM starts, everybody is out. It's a freaking great white shark fest.
Oh yeah.
They can go out and hit thousands of fleets. But as the targets wear off, people get their points, they start putting them away. They don't have as many targets to hit. Because they're surely not going to go after conqueror fleets. That's, I don't know, back to realism. That's why the Germans went after tankers and freightliners.
Yeah. No, I mean they're looking for zero damage to themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Well, I can understand that, but it doesn't benefit anybody really.
Except kicks.
Yeah.
But what does having your base flattened benefit the person who has the base flattened? It gives the other person a great joy.
Jordy, you've been around long enough. I can't believe you don't base hit at all.
I'm going to say now.
Of course I do, mate, but not very often now. But that's because I choose not to coin. I'm not gonna. I was just saying to one of my guys tonight, I want to be good enough in the game, but I don't want to be a name because it costs too much. That's the price.
Yeah, that's sad. You got to pay for your name.
Yeah, but you do. To be up there hitting, you've got to be coining.
Yep.
And I'm not interested in boosting my ego with my wallet.
No, I get it. I understand. Like I said, I'm feeling to the point to where, honestly, I could almost walk away.
And I mean, fair dues to those that do. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy I enjoy the base defense side more than I do the base attacking. So I enjoy getting hit.
Well, but whenever you and I came up in the game, what was the mantra? Base first.
Yeah.
But see, look, I mean, I like to hit bases, but I don't have the fleets for it. And I've just got the fleets, but now it's all back to north.
Changed.
But yeah, but I still like. I like. I mean, not like being hit, but I like to defend. I mean, I got hit just before the show by a couple of witches and a sloth and a bus, and I got down. I got rolled, but it doesn't bother me that I got rolled. All that tells me is that something in my base isn't right. And
I don't know necessarily.
It doesn't cost me anything to repair the base. I'm not going to click the repair now button and pay 20 coins or whatever it is. It repairs by itself, and then I will see that if I need to change the layout. Do I need to add another special? Do I put some armor or I change the armor to make it a little bit harder? You know, it's in strategy. So base hitting goes with it. It's a fun part of the game.
Toxic. If you, again, realism, if you build up a sub base or something like that it doesn't automatically change just next week because somebody wants it to. Your base should be able to stop or do damage to these fleets. You know, when he hit my base earlier, man, I'll tell you what, he came in, he prepped it, he went out, he repaired his fleet, he came back in, took a few more targets, came back in, and just took it out. There's nothing I can do.
No, there isn't. No. But you know, it's part of the game. Like you get your base hit. It's no biggie, you know.
But that's no difference to saying it's part of the game. You get your fleet sunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's part of the game
if you were to give players the option, and this is a silly idea out of left field, but if you give players the option to be a PvE only player, so their bases couldn't be hit, how much would sniping drop? Because then you wouldn't get people with a B in the bonnet. But they're forced it, and you know, I understand that, and I'm not complaining about it, but I'm just putting up the counter argument. People have to be content for PvP, whether they like it or not.
Well,
as soon as you join the game, you're content for other people.
You know what? I don't disagree with that, but the problem to me is the fact that there is only one boat that can hit a sub. There's only one boat in the entire game that can see it, and you have to have that boat in your fleet in order to hit subs.
Yep, and then turn it the fuck away.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fairly simple argument that we're having, which I think they're going to hopefully fix soon. Is that they've created two classes, and the class that we use in raids, chores, and whatnot can't defend at all against the other class, the Conquer Halls, but they can somewhat maybe defend against the Fangtooth. But the Conquerors with you have 40,000 armor versus 2.3 million armor. It's not even a fair and then you have the repair time differences. Oh my fucking god! I mean, it's like it's 30 minutes versus 4 hours. It's something that they broke, and I don't know if they broke it intentionally. I mean, it probably makes them money, but it doesn't bring them in players because it's extremely frustrating, and it keeps people away from PvP in my mind. The fact that, okay, now they can go in and some guy for 6 minutes of damage can just hit my fleet that's going to cost 23 hours to fix.
Yeah.
And it's just not, it's...
And if they hit that at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. on a Wednesday, you're down till Thursday from doing the FM.
Yeah.
Well, actually, when I do get my FM fleet gets sniped, I just go and throw a few minutes repair on each boat and go back at it. It does not have to be full health for me to do the FM. What I do like that Kicks I did was made subs have to be full repair before they can be relaunched.
Yeah. Do you remember when they did that, though? Do you remember the timing on that?
Yeah, right before the first Scourge raid.
Yeah. Before it was related to the raid, they could maximize that.
Yeah, exactly. And then after that raid is when they released the subs that never surfaced, etc.
Yeah.
So you were back to being able to do it damage free again. But they haven't put that onus on Conquerors, have they? So it doesn't solve the problem of Conquerors sniping the others. And of course, I do believe they did it out of error. I think it was oversight. But
you talking about Conqueror sniping PvE?
Yeah. But what's the fix? I mean, do I sit there and put a PvE fleet as my guard fleet, and then a Conqueror fleet comes in and can't attack my base because it's not so bad on the external.
Well, I'm assuming they're not that stupid.
Well, but
I mean, that might be a glitch for 2 or 3 days, but I'm assuming they're not that. I mean, that would be a dumb move on their part to do something like that. I mean, they would probably not allow them to be guards or make them vulnerable. I mean, it's
what, Hefe?
Yeah.
I think my personal opinion is that we keep having these shows and we keep talking about this and we keep doing this, and Kixeye may be listening to the shows, they may not be listening to the shows, but they need to come on these shows and answer these questions directly so that we see where they're going.
It
Never
does
gonna happen.
it
Never
is
gonna happen.
Well, they've gone on shows before. They've gone on this show before.
No, but they are reticent to answer the questions.
Yeah, they've always been cotton-balled, and
there's more corporate speak and milly mouthing goes on there than just about anywhere.
But that's what I'm saying. If they want to engage the player base, give us good, solid, direct answers.
Yeah, and I agree. And some of that is like some of the simple stuff that I watch these. I don't even know Chris Wrongthinker live things, and I'm like, if they gave a couple of like solid examples and bring out a couple of numbers or do a couple of things just to like the players understand what they're talking about, as opposed to just providing like business management speak as far as like we're gonna this yeah, I understand what you're saying. They do a whole if you ever been in like some of these retail business management meetings, it's the same. We're gonna say a lot of words that don't mean much. And that's what they've been doing more recently. I think, if you provide some tangible facts that players can understand and sort of see how they want to move forward, as opposed to using a lot of cliches and whatnot, I think it'd be helpful, to be honest.
Op 11 must be around the corner. This could give them an opportunity to balance bases better. Yeah. But of course, it's going to make the bases even more powerful than they are at the moment. So this will give them a chance to do some rebalancing. But they've really got to think about how they work Op 11. They've really got to think about it and what we currently have and what they're going to introduce. This gives them a chance to pull themselves back, in how they're going to work. Yeah. But they've really got to have a strategy. They've really got to have a plan, a long-term plan to make it balanced, because you can't have a player there for 6 months. Sorry, a player, like a coder there for 6 months or whatever, that doesn't know what's gone on before, how to balance it all up and get it right.
Yeah, Yeah, that's one issue. And I've talked previously. I mean, this last live session was the one I was most disappointed in, because they didn't. This whole thing. It feels like previously I've talked about. It feels like the product people in Kickstarter, the people that try to monetize the game, and they try to say how much tokens cost, how much damage you're going to take. The game designers deal with, this is going to hit this, and but not necessarily how much damage is going on. And it felt like product took back over, because Wrong Thinker's been with the company for over 6 years, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it's understandably come from another one of their games, but the thing is,
but he's been there long enough that he's not afraid to get fired. He's probably like, okay, fire me, I'll go somewhere else. It's not like he's not a newbie in there. So I sort of, even though he came from War Commander and whatnot, I still like having somebody in that position that's less afraid to get fired. Like Aerospex was new to the company and he wanted to do what people told him to do, as opposed to what he, less likely to take a risk. And I think that's what Wrong Thinker was saying, that if I fuck this shit up, we are taking a risk. But I think it was, I'm taking a risk by doing this. And I could be wrong. I don't know the guy, but I just know he's been working for Kickstarter for a long time, that he's taking a risk that if he fucks up one of these halls, he's out the door. I'm not certain that that's what he meant, but
I view that as just as speak, just to get people on side. The guys that we've seen that have got on side with the player base have not lasted long term. I think Wrong Thinker's in there. I think he's a corporate man. He speaks the corporate speak. He's got all the hand gestures. He plays the game. He plays one side against the other, and he's doing exactly what the company wants. I think Norseman, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago, he was a War Commander player under Wrong Thinker's reign, and he said the game was going down the hill and it was the next one to collapse. He believed. I think what's happening at the minute with my tinfoil hat firmly on, they're saying a lot of words while they take the opportunity to return their investment on developing the last of these hulls and weapons for T7. I think OP11 will be coming out in October, because I have never in the past had every single turret up to max level before the next OP came out and be maxed out on power. I've got T7
being
turrets.
maxed out on power, I'm not even close. I've seen people complaining about that. I'm not sure what they're doing in their bases. It feels like you're doing some things that are not efficient about that.
Most likely, yeah, but
I've got my missile and ballistic turrets had the most efficient killing specials on them.
Yeah, but how many resource generators do you have?
Quite a few, because they give me the ability to put solar powered armor on.
And you don't have anything else on them.
No,
I'm just trying to figure out how you're sucking up so much power.
It's not hard to do, right? Really, I've got every turret and every gate has got a tier 7 weapon on it and a tier 6 secondary on the gates. They're all maxed up. I mean, that's the best thing to me. The best thing about the long-range corrosive turret is you can't use all the specials on it. So it's allowed me to gain base power back.
well, I have about 10,000 or whatever. What am I saying? What is it? 100? I can't math tonight. I don't know. I have 765, 739 out of the 843,000. and I have almost all of pretty much the T7 turrets. I've got elite counters. I mean, but just it's very obvious if people are running out of power, they're doing something somewhere inefficiently, like you said.
Yeah, because I have I have 70, basically 74 out of 84.
Yeah,
77 I've used.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean that's pretty normal, and that's about where you should be. If you're much higher than that, you got armor on stuff you shouldn't. You got specials that are not doing anything. Something.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look at your base to figure out. And I've seen people post it. There's other people doing it.
Yeah.
And there might be a strategy involved to whatever's going on, but it doesn't sound like putting solar panels, on it is what's causing it. It's something else that you guys are doing.
Well, solar
But-
panels should have the opposite effect, shouldn't they?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what he said. It was like I have a ton of resource generators because I have the
I
solar
don't have
panels.
I don't have a ton of resource generators. I've got 6 oil rigs and 6 Zith, I think.
Mhm.
They don't take a ton of power. They're like
No,
under
no,
what,
no.
1200 max or
Not
something
all
like
of
that.
them. The Zith I only built recently, just in case Op 11 comes along, just as another source of Zithium for the walls,
Yeah.
Yeah, not just you, but I see other people commenting on this, and I'm just trying to figure out how and where they spending the power. Because I got everything, I got my warehouses loaded down, I got my OP loaded down. Well, I do not have
The weapon.
the weapon, and does that make enough difference?
No, that uses less power.
No, the weapon's pretty. It's like 16,000 or something. It's a lot.
Oh yeah, that could be the difference. I don't have an Omega weapon.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, and that could be the difference because the Omega weapon
Let's
sucks.
see yeah, it doesn't do jack to pretty
Yeah,
much anybody but terrible fleets.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
So-
I've got 10,000. What is it? 10,000? Yeah, space
Yeah.
on my op, and it's loaded to bear other than a weapon.
Mhm. Yeah, I assume that's an issue. Jordy, you have one of the
No
Omega
weapon,
weapons.
mate. No
What?
weapon.
No, still no weapon. Oh my goodness, I don't even know. What to say. I mean, because that would be an obvious one.
So he's got a pot growing farm underneath his op. That's what it is. It's got a bunch of grow
I should be
lights.
so lucky.
Are you gonna fess up to that, Jordy?
I should be so lucky. I'd be a rich pirate.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'd be driving around with an ice cream van boat selling dope to young
They
pirates.
do that, man. Because I lived in a neighborhood in South Florida where the only time the ice cream man came out was like 10 o'clock to midnight. And you heard the ice cream man show up. He's not selling ice cream to kids, right? No. And, I was like, I would hear him and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that song was a hit in the US, but there's that song with Dolly Parton about the ice cream van.
You're dating yourself, Jordy.
She was featured on it. I'll look it up.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, if you don't have the Omega weapon on, I'm not sure how you're... That is the obvious thing because I think a lot of players have dropped that like a long time ago because they
don't break deflection.
Yeah, they don't break deflection and they lower your ability your ability to put armor on your OP and defend it. So,
My mistake. It was Tammy Munette. It was the KLF and Tammy Munette, Justified and Ancient.
Okay.
His love.
And they go on about the ice cream van in that the drugs being delivered and sold from it.
Like the Tambourine Man.
Yes.
That's before my time.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Yes. Alrighty. Does anybody have any further conversations that don't involve ice cream men selling either weed or crack to your local neighborhood.
It's going to be a busy week for some next week, isn't it?
What, selling crack from an ice cream van?
No, I'm trying to get all the TLCs in, plus,
Oh, okay, yeah.
plus the FM, plus Bounty.
Well, I mean, the way I look at it, there's only one new one, right?
Yeah.
And that's the, I brought it up earlier, the melting whatever, the metal one. So, there's probably one. I really don't like the fact that they introduced more than one during Bounty. I don't, that's not a.
There's going to be a lot of people going after Hydras, though, considering the way they're performing at the moment. A lot of my lot want the Hydras to be getting base parts.
Mm. Yeah, and you need them for that TLC that's out right now, too.
Yep, they do real well on that. And the Bucks get smoked because of the moles.
What TLC is that?
Primus or Dennis.
Yep.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not doing that one.
Apparently, according to them, the best fleet to use is the fleet you win tokens to build. So do that.
Isn't
Build it
that with every
already.
DLC though?
Oh yeah.
To win the
have a
haul,
habit.
you need the haul.
Yeah, they have a habit of that. It's like you get to win something that's not as good as the thing you have to use to win it.
I've got a half Centurion fleet, and I must admit it'll probably stay that way. I've not seen it be that good at the moment.
Nah. It's like the fleet I build when there's nothing else to build. I'm like, just mess with this, I guess. I got nothing else to do.
If it was normal, like generic ship build tokens, I would think about it. But get a whole 8 days of tokens or whatever it is.
I'm waiting for the FM tokens to turn to garrison style ones only because I think they're putting the general tokens on like witness protection or something. They're just you can't have those. Apparently, you might like them.
I mean, we can't see the numbers. Yeah, I know that I spend money when I'm having fun. What I define as fun. I mean, everybody's different in the game.
Sure.
But I find if I'm hitting bases, running around, having a laugh, if I've broken a good base, I'm happy. You know what I mean? Because I know that was a tough base. And if I've got in there, I'm thinking, yeah, I don't get the same sense of enjoyment like sniping an undefensible fleet on a map. And that gives me no real sense of joy unless the guy was an arsehole, and it's very rare that I'll ever do that. Only if they've done it. But I mean, when you take down a base, that to me is like an achievement. And I enjoy that, and I'll spend money. I don't mind having fun. I'll pay money for that. But I think players generally spend money if they're having fun. And I don't know if the numbers back that up. But, maybe the message needs to get over to them. More fun, please. You know what I mean? Allow us to have more fun. Less children, more fun. Let's play Battle Pirates.
That's been an ongoing theme for a couple of years now, and we've seen no letting up on the gas pedal there. So for me, like with a lot of this, I've just decided to assume the worst and roll with it because I'm not going to be angry about it. It's a game. I choose to play it. If it makes me that angry, I ain't playing it. So just if I'm going to be here, I'm going to try to have fun in any way, shape, or form.
Oh yeah, not angry about things. Just something. A little bit disappointed in the twists and turns that they take.
Oh, I think most hitters and most people like defending all of that. I mean, because defending right now doesn't really necessarily give me much sense of accomplishment. I don't feel like I really did something when I stop somebody because I know I'm going to stop them pretty much. I mean, I'm sure there's some good hitters and some smart people, and somebody's going to crack it, no doubt. Especially now that I said that, but I don't feel like I've accomplished as much when I know there's only one ship that can really handle the turrets. So your options of what they can do is so limited. You can really kind of focus on one part of the game, and that's it.
That's it. As long as your base is designed to take out the weakness of that fleet.
basically stop sloths. Right now, if you can stop sloths, you're fine because nothing else is going to get in. And if they build the witch doctor enough to get in, it'll take it 3 years to kill the op in most situations.
Yeah.
So if you could stop sloths a week ago, you got no trouble stopping them now. There's no difference.
Yeah, people are still coming at you and trying.
Well, of course. I mean, otherwise, I mean, a lot of people, that's what they want to do. That's all they want to do is they want to hit bases.
Yeah, but
So,
the point being is they're still trying, they're still coining, they're still failing.
oh, sure.
So kids are still making their money. So,
But they won't be making as much, not with a sloth fleet, because they're going to lose, it may be a little bit of coin on one ship, but it's not a full fleet. They love them full fleets that go barreling in, take 75% damage and get the op and whatever everybody, coins and goes to the next base. So that's 10 plus coins. That's a much better market for them.
yeah, well, I don't know what metrics they use to judge what they bring in, whether they break it down per part of the game or whether they just go, right, we need this total each month. Because I'd imagine they made a boatload of money out of those 2 one-day build tokens, 2 MDS3s for, what was it, about $5?
Oh, yeah. I bought them all.
Yeah. So, I mean,
it's a good deal.
If they have a sales target of X per month and they meet it, I wouldn't imagine they care where it comes from.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love bad months for them, when everything for them is going bad, because then they start sending in, 20 coin, 1 day ship builds and lots of good limited time offers. I'm like, heck yeah, let's keep going. I'll take them.
Well,
So,
ends up, I did buy the big deal. I've got about just over 3,000 gold parked here at the moment. I took it for American $200, 108 UK. But that will sit me there for a few months.
oh yeah, that's a smart way to go about it. You got half price on stuff, and then you can still find times where you're saving more in the process.
Yeah, but there's still going to be those that go on a war run and blow it before they budgeted for it. And
I don't.
It doesn't matter whether it's in your account for 3 months. The money's in Kix's account.
Oh yeah. Well, see, I don't buy those like the $200 ones because it'll be gone by tomorrow morning. Like I will go nutty. Like I will have 10 new ships. I will refit 7 things. It's like a hole, burning a hole in my pocket. I gotta spend it. Let's go.
I take them. I try and be frugal with it. I try and be sensible with it. I like to go out and I like to hit stuff, but I'm like anybody else. We still want to do it for the least we can. You know what I mean? We still want to get value for money at some aspects of the game, And so, yeah, I mean, but I know then I've always got that sitting there if I want to go out on a rampage. You know what I mean? If I just think, fuck it. You know what I mean? It's just go and smash some shit, know.
Light it up. But I mean, that's what's still fun. I mean, I don't know too many that really have. I mean, obviously there's some PvE players, but to me, the game's always been fun beating bases. I don't do what some do. I'm not going to spend all day messing and poking and popping this and prepping that. I don't want to do all that. I'm a lazy pirate. I want to come in and smash some stuff and go home. So.
Yeah. It's the amount of chores there is there now. I mean, it's been nice to get in tonight, for the first time in years. But I generally am a very busy man this time of year. I mean, I'm a photographer and video editor. I'm out filming weddings this time of year non-stop, And so the amount of work for me at this time, and then when we get all the chores on top of that and the amount of time they expect you to be in front of your computer on Battle Pirates, it's a struggle. It's a struggle for me to keep up with everything this time of year. Sure.
Yeah, and I think they've run off a lot of kind of just halftime players that would be involved and make it interesting. And they played, but they weren't wanting to commit that kind of time. So.
Well, you're gonna have a fun time coming up, then, haven't you? The next few weeks, you're not gonna get away from that computer if you wanna get all the stuff.
To be honest with you, I think I'm probably gonna have to skip Bounty because I just can't see me. I'm not gonna have the time to do it this time. And looking at the way things stand at the moment, it seemed like it'd be a waste of time anyway. So, you know, I'm just going to say, yeah, this one, I'm going to, you know, knuckle down, get some bloody editing done, get some work done, and you know, and I'll see everybody on the other side of it. You know.
But the thing is, with this is what happens when I don't get stuff. It's the only part that I don't get is the part that you need. What did I need?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's me
Well,
too.
but the other thing to think of here, guys, is they're dumping all of this tier 7 PvP crap.
Yep.
That they've already told us they're going to change after the first of the year.
Oh yeah.
So
Not after the
why?
first of the year. At some point in October.
Okay, but that's fine. But my point is, they're introducing it, they're giving it to us, making us earn it and pay for it now, and it's going to change in 60 days.
That's probably going to be close to when they do Op 11 as well. So, it's going to be
So why do we want it? Why do we need to build it? Why do we need to give them the coins for this stuff when they're going to take it away from us?
Because human nature is give me, let me take, and I don't care who I hurt to get it.
as long as you've got the PvE fleets and you can earn stuff, you know, and continue moving forward in that respect up to that date, you should be okay. You know.
Well, you're all saying that, but the sloth. What tier is the sloth? It's a tier 6.
Yeah.
And it's still smacking bases now. So anything you don't get can and will be used against you at a later date.
Well, and at this point in the game,
That's unfortunate, but that's the way it's been going, you know.
yeah. But
Sorry.
at this point in the game, no, you were fine. I jumped in on you. I heard a quiet moment. I just leaped. But at this point in the game, it has to have a certain amount of time of value to me. But I mean, really, we've had years and years of stuff having a very, very short shelf life, and we knew it going into it. I mean, any Blitzer fleet, you know, it's got maybe a few weeks, a month. I mean, you know, so that creates the impetus of people like me and others that want to hit bases to coin it or to hurry up, you know, because we want to use it. I want to go use it and kill stuff, you know, and I know that if I don't get it now, I won't be able to. It'll be useless. So that's the same with this T7 stuff. They're going to run it out, and a lot of us are going to build it, and we're going to coin, and we're going to yes, it's 2 months, but that's a
And
long
then we're going to
time.
complain about it when it doesn't work anymore.
Of course. That is the cycle of battle pirates that we've been playing for all this time. I mean, that's what I'm saying with my attitude is like, meh, I'm going to either do it or I'm not, whatever. You know?
I'm not against coining, but coining is not a tactic. That is the response.
No. To me, coining is a time issue. That's all it is.
Well, it's what kicks I want. Time's money, and they want your money. So they imply time and to absorb your time so that you want a coin to speed things up. That's fine. But it's not a tactic. Tactic is patience.
Well, yes and no. Yes and no. You take Rum's example of real life war. Is the country or the entity that brings out the bigger weapons, the better weapons sooner, more likely to win?
Yep.
And that's the reality of the game is that's a tactic as much as anything. It's the same with coining your repairs to hit more bases. And people say coining doesn't buy skill. Well, not directly, no, but indirectly, it absolutely will, because you're going to hit more bases than the guy that isn't coining. You're going to hit 5 times as many, 10 times, whatever, and you're going to have that much more experience and ability and lessons learned. So,
coining itself and military spending itself are not tactics. The Taliban and the Viet Cong have shown you that. Yeah, exhaustion of men and casualty rates.
Well, yeah, but I mean, where
one
F-16 and the F-22,
where one society values life and another doesn't, will beat any amount of points.
Jordy, isn't that what I said earlier? Is the point that when war ends is when one side can't take anymore?
Yeah. I'm just pointing out that coining doesn't stop people going to war with you or killing your people or making you retreat. You know?
Right.
It's about patience. It's about holding back at times. That's a tactic. You know, waiting to see what this heavy metal comes out. Having your having your Witch Doctor built, but not fully built, so that you've got an armor space on it, or one weapon space in case something comes out that adds a deflect. You know what I mean? Holding back some tokens or being ready for a potential flagship to be released, as they've done before. But just going out and buying a build of 3 Witch Doctors between the raid ending and this week, that's not a tactic. That's a conditioned response that Kixeye have designed and trained us to do. Exactly what they want. It's just like the player base has been asking for reduction in chores, reduction in chores, reduction in chores. Oh, here's an app that means you can do it while you're at work. Oh, that's great. I can do it while I'm at work. So now they're taking 5 to 10 minutes of your working day breaks or what have you.
Yeah.
5 to 10. I bet it's more than that.
Well, I would imagine it is. But my point being is they haven't resolved the time issue. They've just fed your addiction more.
Yep.
And then there are a group of players who believe that's them doing a great thing. I don't think it is. I'm a little concerned with the statement of both fleets will be capable of autoing targets.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of what they've been talking about.
I don't, I'm not opposed to autoing, but I remember when autoing started and it was done by ingenuity and designed by the players so they could show off doing 71 targets, the cargoes. Back in the day, look, I've built a fleet that can do that, auto it for 0 damage.
Yeah.
That was what players were doing. Now we've got to a point where Kixeye have monetized autoing, but with condition damage as well, because it's become an acceptable behavior. And that's not really what I believe in. But
my own personal thoughts are one way to fix this is to bring in a realistic damage model to where, just like in the real world, when you go in, your ships take different levels of damage and different items quit. And the same thing happens to the base turrets. And that brings it back to where there's an element that nobody controls. Kixeye doesn't control it. We don't control it. And that would bring back strategy.
Yeah.
Because then you have to learn to drive your fleets to where certain weapons come to bear.
Not only would that bring back strategy, but it would also bring back the player's ability for creativity.
And it would bring back fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would really interest me strategically.
You guys have had a more positive response to this than most people I've talked to about it. My God, I think I'm going to fall over. And somebody call 911.
Well, you realize that was done for about 3 months, right? You guys remember that when that was done? It was about 4 or 5 years ago, where you would randomly lose specials, like your engine would go, you would stop, you would slow down, or your deflection would go. That went on for about 3 months. I think about 4 or 5 years ago. It was really interesting part of the game, but the players did not react well to that.
I think we have a different breed of player out there right now, and I think that they need to give it a chance.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm agreeing with you. It has been implemented in the past, so there is something in their archives that would show them how to do this. So it's not like creating brand new code in order to bring this to fruition. But all I'm saying, this has been done. This is not something new. I'm just saying, previously the player base rejected it and did not like it, and this was this was 4 or 5 5 years ago when they did this the first time.
Yeah, I think they need to look at it. I seriously think they need to try it again.
The point and click brigade are never going to like that kind of thing, are they?
Well, of course they won't. But I'm not interested in the point and click brigade.
No, sorry. I'm just saying. I think there was a lot more of them back then than there are now.
Yep. I think the incremental damage, or I think, I mean, if one side of your boat is damaged and all you can do is turn around and get the other side to fire, that's what you got to do.
That makes sense.
So that's real world, isn't it? Like real battleships. Obviously, I've read all the naval battles from here and right back to the ironclads. For some silly reason, that was why I first started this game, thinking it was going to be more like that, but it's obviously far.
Well, the broadside shot. I mean, you want to fire at them head on, or you want to fire at them broadside when you got 10 cannons coming in to bear, or 2.
That takes us back to the old FVF when you used to, had the floating fortresses and stuff like that, but you had mixed weaponry on it. You weren't caught out by range differences and people getting up close to you and you having nothing that could hit them and all that kind of stuff. You got to design that into your ships. Now you don't.
Somebody threw a pile of beer cans. Okay.
That'll be happy.
Yeah, but then I still remember the old dreadnoughts with missiles on them, and you'd run one. What's that sub called? One stalker sub with that, and you have a fleet that can hit bases. And if someone snipes you, you got that. Even if he's got subs or whatnot, you got that stalker in there that give you all that sonar range, and you could have a fight there too, But you can't do that anymore. This fleet can't go on that target. That fleet can't go on this target. You're not allowed to use that fleet with this fleet. It's just you take all the choices away, all the ingenuity.
The Conqueror hulls messed the game up a lot.
Yep.
All hulls should have been like in a generic way. Anything can hit anything, But obviously now we've got the problem where, as we covered earlier, where we've got super armored hulls that are attacking PvP hulls that are completely helpless against them.
But it's purely based on the fact that the Kickside couldn't get a good design that beat player ingenuity. So they forced design constraints on us that meant the cost burden, as always, is carried by the player, not Kickside's profit margin.
Yeah, I mean, as we know, we've gone over it earlier, but the repair costs on the PvP hulls is horrendous. I mean, I can't say that I've had a problem with sniping. I won't. I've been really good, and I've sunk so many fleets. I've normally come out hot on most things, but I've sunk so many sniper fleets. But obviously, I've got quite a big alliance. I've got a lot of low-level guys that we're trying to bring through, and they struggle. They struggle to get the FM done and stuff like that. And they're hitting low-level targets. And if they lose a fleet, it really hurts them. It really does. And I want to retain these players because I want the game to keep going. I want the game to be viable. I mean, we need players for the future. And if these players give up, we haven't got a game anymore.
But at the minute, for a new player, I mean, we had it's so hard to get into this, to understand all this, to see. Oh, I'm going to build that hull, and I'm going to have to put what special on. All these specials. Which one is the right one? And when you get into the game, you have to research the HH and all that stuff. What are they going to do? Nothing. They have to be sort of started off. Give them something that they can participate in the game with. Not make them super powerful right from the start, but give them something where they can sort of learn with.
5 years ago, I drew up a list of all the specials that you would put on each ship to work with each, weapon type. And it didn't take me that long. If I wanted to do that now, it'd probably take me a bloody week. Time, but it was a help guide for my alliance at the time. So they would put the correct specials and the correct. It was like an idiot's guide, but it's just they didn't have to think about it. They could just that went with that, and then you could build a fleet that will go out and be half decent. It should do what the job it was intended to do. Nowadays, trying to make that guide now. I mean, I know there's people out there that have attempted it or tried it, but I mean, it'd be huge, absolutely huge. You know.
You need a photographic memory.
There was a point in time that you could almost fill half the special slots with certain types. You know, everybody knew you needed an engine,
Yep.
you needed the armored special, and you needed something for evade. Now evade's virtually useless, but there's loads of specials for it.
I mean, the old, what is it? The FF, I think, only had two slots, didn't it? Or did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, only had two. So you had to work out: do I put an engine on? Do I put a missile extender on, or do I put a defensive thing on? You had to work it out, and you know that made it interesting. But now it's you got that many specials and you got that many slots, and it's still not enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at high velocity rounds. I mean, how many ships does that work on?
Oh yeah, I mean that 100% sort of, you know, speed increase on the actual projectile speed increase, or whatever it is. You know, everybody wanted that. I mean, and we all know they work so well on like countermeasures and stuff. You know.
Yeah, so I mean, it's almost compulsory.
But if you're a new guy, you don't know that. You wouldn't
No,
think.
and it's not made obvious by the blueprint or any particular briefing, you know, about what it affects, or even accuracy in general, what it affects. You know, and then you get accuracy on turret weapons that doesn't work.
Another little thing I wanted to touch on as well. I mean, I know we can't affect this, but it's the bleeding the crews that we get, the road crews. I mean, most of those are relative to crews that like our fleet. So we stopped using 4 years ago. You know, like the bonuses they offer are to fleet that we stopped using 4 years ago. I mean, that needs a complete revamp. And I'm not saying they have to take away everything that we've got, just change the ships that they're relevant with.
Like the
Well,
ones
look at
That would be low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
look at was it the Spectres? The Spectres and the Crypt Keeper, and you could do almost everything, anything, and it was too good, so they took it away.
Yep.
Look how many people. Look how many people are relying on the affordability of their raid by using grease monkeys.
I've got monkey crew. You know, I'll be using grease monkeys in the next raid. I'll go out and do an hour and a half, sort of wham, 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 wham. You know, but don't get me wrong, it gets my raid done pretty quick. You know, I can smash out 5 million pretty quick. You know?
This will be the last raid you'll be doing that though.
Oh yeah.
Because they take the CRCs away, you got no Darkwing CRC. One keep the fleet together, and every ship will get have a different speed.
Don't get me wrong, I don't enjoy it because it means I'm stuck at the keyboard for an hour and a half. You know, with a big monkey crew, and I'm sort of like I'm trapped in front of the screen. Whereas normally hit a few stop, hit a few stop, hit a few stop. But you know, you're committed to an hour and a half. So I hit an hour and a half, have a 20-minute break, hit an hour and a half, have a whatever, bang bang bang. But you could get 600 million pretty fast that way. You know, before almost. You know.
Yeah, no, and I almost think that's one of the reasons why they took the CRCs out, is because we were using the half repair time and the half repair time, and you know, we had stronger fleets and it was less coin for Kixeye.
Well, that's probably what the damage is based around. The knowledge that a lot of people plan ahead and stack up GM crews.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So they got to up the damage to still get the same revenue.
All the testing's based on legendary crews.
Yeah.
I've done this crews. Every single one. The last 4 have all been done with grease monkeys, and the final one will be done with grease monkeys, because I would not have paid for the damage that they're throwing out if I didn't have grease monkeys.
But that's the point we're making. They've got to that assessment by people testing with legendary fleets and elite crews.
Yep.
You know, it needs to be the targets need to be designed so that you can do them with 60% rank, not not breeze them, but do them with a middle of the road crew. You know.
But have you tried to roll one? I've tried to. I had a few warehouses I rolled. I've not gotten any grease monkeys lately.
I get 2 a month, and I don't roll massively.
I got 3 or 4, I think.
Well, I had 13 before the start of the last raid. I only used 4 for the last raid, and I got what I needed. You know.
But how much time are you spending just collecting uranium?
I at the moment, all I'm doing is taking when the daily skirmish comes around, a few days. I pick that up and roll. Pick that up and roll. You know, I'm not going out of my way to try and get it at the moment, but I'm fortunate that I've already got 9 grease monkeys, so I don't need to push that hard for it. But if you haven't got many, yeah, then you've got to go out and get some. You know.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't even always do the scourge blockade.
It's easy with prototypes. There's a use for those stupid things.
Yeah, I'm not. It's just one area I choose to reduce my chore time.
Yeah, I mean,
I just auto them with prototypes. So.
And my RSI kicks in from clicking those down through.
Daily skirmish that comes around every few days with my fangs, and it's you know, it's such a short repair time. If you can drive subs, fortunately, I'm not from the drive. You know what I mean? So yeah, I can actually drive my subs. And we got the skirmish raid coming up now. I don't like subs. I won't lie here because I think they're bloody boring. They're slow.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
Been slow, you know. So I will probably go with the surface fleet and just, you know, smash it because it's mind-numbingly boring running subs all day, you know.
Here. I second that. I hate subs.
Yeah. I mean, I could drive them, but I just find it bloody boring, you know.
Man, I love subs.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love them. I love them more when you can do things damage-free with them.
I'd rather not play.
For me, you see, I have to put it into perspective. Yeah, is that the amount of time that I have to spend doing that? Yeah, if I can smash something out in about 6-7 hours, yeah, then I can get back to work and be earning money. Now, if I have to spend 4 or 5 days doing a raid, I actually lose hundreds of pounds not working. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's quicker just to smash it and get it done. You know. Because I'm self-employed, the more work I get done, the more I earn. You know, so it's cheaper for me just to go and smash it than it is to grind it. Even though I'm capable of grinding it, and in the past I've done it. I mean, years ago I won the DNXs grinding with battle barges and sea wolves in, you know, over and over and over again, instant repair fleets. You know, over 4 days, and I won the dreads in that. And it took me about 4 days virtually non-stop, but I got them for free.
Yeah, but grinding now and grinding then is a bit of a difference.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you need, how many points did we need this last raid to get everything? It was what,
600,
900
or more, whatever. Or if you wanted a bit, all the tokens, you know, like for the turrets and stuff like that, you were probably looking at like, you know, like 1 billion, wasn't it, or something? You know.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just crazy.
Just one of the brand new stuff. It was 215 million.
Well, there was a short period there that really kind of trained us that we didn't have to grind much. I mean, if you coined, you could get done in 4 or 5 hours or whatever and be done for the weekend. But
Yeah,
there was a period, but before that, most everybody was grinding most of the weekend unless they were coining. I mean, so
it used to be you quickly get it done.
No.
You look at the best build for the hull. You quickly, you know, coin it, and then hit bases if it was a base hitting hull or whatnot.
Oh yeah.
And then it was all half repair time, and you know, people will be complaining, and you get all these little lovely letters, and you go, "Yeah, fleet works." You know, it's great, and it's now it's just madness to do that now. It costs you fortune.
Well, it was expensive then. It wasn't much cheaper then. It was, you know, you had to coin rank on top of that and so on. So,
but the other thing that was going on then, which you don't see as much now, is people murking themselves out or helping others for free.
Yeah.
Not in this right.
Now you've forced the big players, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, to keep their nose to the grindstone and use the time that they have available to get the maximum amount of points they want.
Yep.
Meaning the others are having to plod away and or coin.
If I'm having to use grease monkeys to get my own points, I can't prep for other people. No, really.
Exactly my point.
No.
Exactly my point. If you look at terms of service now, they've altered it to make it illegal for you to get financial benefit from using your own equipment to help others.
Well, you have to like them a lot more too.
But now, what you just said was that if you don't have grease monkeys, now the little player or the mid-level player may not have even access to grease monkeys. They might not even be able to roll the grease monkey because they need all the uranium to build stuff. How do they? I mean, it's so hard. It'd be so hard to be. I mean, I don't think I'd be playing if I was a mid-level player now.
But
I don't think I would.
Toxic, what you're missing out on is the fact that the coiners don't sit at the lower and middle end; they sit at the top end.
True,
That's
I
where
agree.
they have to apply the pressure. If somebody's going to come in and be serious now, you know, Kickstar's train of thought, I'm sure, is, well, the option's there for them to buy uranium.
But how many coiners have they lost lately? You know, over the last while. I mean,
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many they retain or lose. It depends on how the bottom line changes. And if they manage to hit the predicted targets, it doesn't matter when there's one. If there's one bloke playing all by himself and he's spending all the money, still getting the money they want.
They call him Cannon.
Whatever. They'd all have much smaller homes if they relied on me.
Yeah, there's no more whales. They're cannons now.
Uh-huh. I have a budget, man, and I stick to it reasonably well.
Yeah, whatever's in your checkbook.
No. If I was spending what was in my checkbook, you'd see a lot more of me.
Let me know your credit card.
I don't have credit cards. They're a terrible idea.
Yes, they are.
And he goes out with a guy in our alliance. He's a great guy, and he preps a load of players, you know. And I know he's spending a fortune, you know, more than I would have. I mean, like I said, I've got 3,000 codes sitting here. The amount he must be spending, it's not the amount of money that I'll ever consider spending on a raid. But he goes out and he does every raid and he helps. And, you know, I love having this guy in our alliance. He's a good player. But the thing is, you know, to me, it's painful knowing how much he's spending, helping us, you know, like, wow, you know, how much are you throwing at him, you know? I don't know. I don't know. I just think sometimes he's being abused, you know what I mean? But, you know, he's
I'm sure it is.
enjoying it to some extent, but yeah, he probably regrets it on the Monday. You know?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the people that they'll do that consistently. They're getting enjoyment out of helping people. They like doing it. I mean, I think by and large, I mean, there's those people that are just suckers, but normally the people do it because they like helping people and they want to help their alliance. They want to help other people be stronger, and they know that's a good way of supporting the community. So
if it's not costing me a lot of money and I've got the time, I'll put 2 days of full prepping, you know what I mean? Or so, you know,
sure,
helping everybody. You know, at the moment with the damage output the way it is, the fact that I actually need to use grease monkeys to keep the costs what I would consider reasonable, you know, I can't prepping unless I had 50 grease monkeys in my, you know.
Well, I got away from it years ago because I noticed it was always the same people. Yeah. And the only time I ever saw them was come raid time. Suddenly they're like, "Hey, how you been?" I'm like, "I'm fine. How are you?" You know, "Hey, can you prep me a target?" You know, no.
The guys that when you get your rate, you got your paycheck, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and there's the opposite side as well. I mean, there's like there's some guy in 493. I used to be in 493 for a long time, and this guy, he would get, you know, would never play, you know, has like, you know, negative medals to me. But once the raid showed up, he was in the top 3 or 4.
Yeah,
it was like, what the fuck is going on there?
Yeah. Well,
yeah, that one sort of disturbed me, is watching some player that doesn't play the game at all, and then all of a sudden he's number 3 or 4 in the raid,
Yeah.
and he's got 200 medals, and what the fuck is going on there, right?
Yeah. We had a
That
guy,
happens all the time.
in our section. I think he was first or second in the raid. This thing, and I messaged him, well, you're doing good, and he's in a very small alliance, and most of them really are underperforming. None of them are worth more than about 150 medals, and he'd get over 1 billion points. And I said, okay, do you want to come and join us? You know what I mean? We're active. Obviously, you got the ability to go and earn stuff. He said, I only come on once a month and do this, and that's it, really. And I thought, what? That's it. That's it. It's like, I don't
Chris,
know.
I must love him.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
See, I don't mind helping people, do the raid, whatever, as long as they're helping themselves.
Oh yeah.
That's it. See, teach them how to fish. If you can give them the equipment and then they can go out and use that and learn, and carry on with it, yeah, and then pass that, and help others below them. That I'm happy with. Just keep coming back and asking for handouts every month. And you get tired of them.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing. I do agree. I can deal with players like that.
That's another aspect that Kicks killed off. I used to consider myself a collector. So I used to go to work towards having every blueprint,
Mm-hmm.
But then they brought out random drops and random shard drops. So you couldn't guarantee you owned it. You couldn't work towards earning everything without putting a massive amount of time in and luck landing on your side. So it broke my collection, so there was no point in maintaining the collection.
Okay. But that's an OCD thing, right?
Sorry?
Is that an OCD thing?
No, it's just a collector's thing. If you're going to collect it, you want the full lot, don't you?
Yeah. Okay.
If you're going for a set of coins, there's no point going, I've got 9. I'm not going to bother with the 10th in the set.
Okay. Yeah, it's just not the way I work. Go ahead, Tom.
Let me change the subject there for a sec.
Okay.
TLC, right? Now, the which one is it? The Hunters Games, I think it is. It says there assault fleets recommended, right? And I knew when I brought my Manitous out, my Makaras out, it was 20 seconds damage for the first one. Then it was 30 seconds damage for the second one. I thought, bugger it, I'll do 2 before I repair. And before I knew it, I was hitting the button and it was number 6.
Uh-oh.
18 hours, 18 and a half hours of repair later.
Yeah, they lulled you into a sense of security and then slapped you upside the head.
Just
You obviously didn't watch the TLC show where they said don't do level 6 with your
I
max
did.
sword.
I knew it.
Remember from the last time it came out? Because I was doing them the same way. I was like, okay, I'm just running my Mantis. So far, so good. Then I went, wait a minute. Don't these start to shock you? I'm like, uh-oh.
You can't get out. There's no way you can get out.
And I got lucky and stopped at 4. So I brought my skies in. So
I like I said, it wasn't going to go repair for every 20 seconds. I thought I'd let 2 run. I did 5, no worries. And I pressed on 6, and I go, oh no! And then next thing I'm already stunned.
Yeah, that's one of those camps I never do. There's too many targets, and I'm like, no. I do like 1 level, and I'm like, all right, I don't like this camp. I'm not doing it. So
it's pretty simple. I mean, fortunately, once somebody had made the mistake, they managed to warn other people. And I put it on the Alliance page, for Christ's sake, use Phoenix or whatever in level 6, you can run your Mantis up to that point and then go with Phoenix or whatever you're going to do, or Skies.
But that's again what I don't like about what they've done is built-in design flaws. Obvious things. Yeah, you're Katie. Shut up. Nobody cares about your Katies.
Katie's Man of War. Yeah.
Or all of the other big old ships. But it's lack of foresight for making it an enjoyable progression for the player. You have to know those things and have to remember those things going into the target, or like you get 18 hours damage. The Mantis should be better than the Sky and the Phoenix. It should. There should be no reason why in any situation going forward, it shouldn't be. That's stupid. And that's, I think, done intentionally just to cause damage.
Yeah, but what annoyed me more is that I knew it. It's just because of being too lazy to repair after every battle. I thought I'd do it every 2 and it'll still be good. And then bang, clicked on it, stunned. I said, damn it. You know, hopped around like Rumpelstiltskin around the fire, you know.
But it's another scenario where you have to have multiple fleets and you have to keep hanging on to your old fleets.
Yep.
New fleet, you've got with the new fleet that should be superior to the old fleet. Yeah. But you still have to be able to complete the TLC.
Well, that's why we're running around with 3 siege fleets.
So everyone's running around with multiple fleets of every bloody kind, and and it's getting them all in your dock. You know?
Yeah, and the dock can't hold all the fleets you need for all these chores and TLCs and raids and base hitting and everything.
Nope.
That needs an upgrade to, I don't know, 150. I think we can have 120. I think it needs to be, to be able to have a few more in there, simply because of the amount of fleets they're asking us to use.
But the thing is, why does there need to be a limit?
Yeah, it's again a flash memory storage limit. I don't know.
I guess maybe that's why, yeah. But some of the fleets you bought, some of these, like especially the older ones, I bought some of those, and I had to delete them because I didn't know how wrong.
Yeah. I mean, if I could get the money back on what I scrapped, I'd be quite a few £1,000 better off.
It wouldn't be so bad scrapping the older fleets that you paid for if they gave you, like, say it costs you 150 coins to build a boat. They gave you 1 coin back. That wouldn't be so bad.
That would be awesome.
1 coin. Oh, 1 coin per what? Or how's that? Just 1 coin per. Like, if you spent 150, you got 1 coin back. Is that what you're saying?
A percentage of what you spent on building that hull.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. If you got maybe 10% back, 10% back would be nice, wouldn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't cost them anything.
No,
it's to no cost to them whether they give you 10 coins or 20 coins or whatnot.
Their own economy, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah, the gold in here is their own economy. You know what I mean? So, like it's when they give you gold back. When they've screwed up and you send a ticket in. If they give you gold, 100 gold, it doesn't cost them anything. It costs, because they're not pulling money out their own pocket, out of their account. They're just giving you some.
They don't have to buy. They don't have to get $10 worth and then give it back to you.
Because I've had I'm not sure if anybody agrees with this, but I've had the idea as far as we were promised at one point in time that all our hulls would be good for a year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not asking for us to discuss that. I'm asking for the idea of if they haven't been good for a year. Like one example would be right now is the prototype seeker has no home, right? The idea of the prototype seeker is the preferred hull in an upcoming TLC associated with the next raid cycle. It's because it's I got a tier 7 skirmish fleet. Now it's fucking worthless, right? And I built the whole thing. Make it extremely easy for those people. Boom, it's done. But still make it manageable for people with fang tooths, people with hunters. Not, don't make them pulling their ass off. Don't just make it extremely easy for those people that have the prototype seeker, because it appears the prototype seeker, before people got it built, it's dead. At least in my opinion.
I've got a fleet built. Wife's got a fleet built. I mean, but the only time I'm really seeing that a fleet lasts for a year is actual fact, because you need to hang on to it for one of these TLCs. We throw the curveball out at you, and if you don't, you need more than one fleet to do a TLC, and it's an old fleet you've got to bring back in again. And that's the only still viable.
I think until recently, fleets lasted for a year. I mean, even Conqueror, like if you pick the right Conqueror fleets,
Yeah.
I mean, the bus has been around forever. I'm not sure I understood everything you said, but
Till the last week or so, the MSC has done pretty well as well. I say up until the last week or so, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but the last year thing, we all know they want to keep building fleets because they want to kind of they want to make their money that way. But I mean, it shouldn't be that way. They should make their money from us engaging each other, and that's just my 2 cents. I originally signed up to play Battle Pirates, and the ironic thing is, I enjoy my work. I sort of come on Battle Pirates to make it feel like I've got a job, because the amount of time I end up spending on it, it's crazy,
No, I've been playing Battle Pirates for a long time.
Yeah, I
could have kids probably close to
the wife,
middle school if I had kids, whatever.
yeah, the wife started in Blackwater, and I saw her play. I looked over and see her playing it, and she got me sort of it. And then a month or so later, I set up my own account and started playing. But so I just missed the Blackwater myself, So, but I've seen, obviously over these years we've seen so many changes, evolved, but not always for the better, and now in the amount of chores that we were given now, nothing like that back in the day. You didn't feel obligated to have to do everything back then. It was fun.
Well, there was not chores back then. I mean, it was back in the day. You're talking Blackwater.
Oh yeah.
The only chores were huge chores. It took a lot of time, and what those chores were was hitting the salvages to get the XP and to get resources. The combination of the two. That's what was going on at that point in time.
Or to steal other people's salvages, or sink their fleet and steal the cargo from it.
Yep.
No, the original chores were the original Drac mines.
Sitting on the mines. I remember sitting on the mines.
Jesus Christ, the Drac mines didn't come around for years. I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I've been playing forever. And so but yeah, the Drac, that was, that's new stuff relative to the original chores.
No, the original Drac mines where the Dracs would come out and attack you after so long of you being on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's what you're talking about. Okay, yeah, that was funny. That was funny. Yeah, I do understand what you're saying, because it would either be players or the Dracs would come back and try to retake the salvage. What were these even called at that point? There weren't salvages at that point, but they would try to retake what you had taken.
Yeah, the mines. There was metal, energy, oil, and
wind.
lithium.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, that the original point of this is that we didn't have the pressure. We didn't feel the pressure to go out and get everything and do everything, and fear that we would fall so far behind if we didn't get everything.
Right.
Even as a high level, I mean, I'm reasonably high level. I'm level 124. I'm getting close to level 125, and you feel like if you miss a few days in this game or a week, you're wow, so much catching up. Again, I mean, the war took a couple of months, and it took about 3-4 months to what she lost in those couple of months, and it's crazy. Because that's the amount of content that's being spewed out, and that the pace of it is so high. And though we say we want to retain players, we want to keep players, the amount of work that you're asking them to do is a lot to ask, especially for a new player.
Yes,
that's true.
But then again, back in the day, swinging the lamp again, back in the day, people in general, you were that busy sinking cargoes, etc., to get your stuff. People weren't helping. You were fighting each other to get to the cargoes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now so a new player can start, they chirp up in comms, and before you know it, there's more res than they can possibly shift. And you can watch their base go up in levels like a ticket.
Yeah, we had a guy start. He asked to join us now. No, we don't want to take like real noobs in, but he was level 22. In about a week, he was level 55.
Yeah.
Just
I remember when I started,
Yeah.
you know, all those guys that came and hit, you know, I'd be on a mining base, and all those guys that came and, you know, and hit my base when I wasn't around, or hit my fleet when I wasn't around. Then I went and, you know, as soon as we were able to hit bases, they no longer played the game.
Yeah.
You know, I was farming their asses for doing that, you know, because the game was fucked up at that point, don't you think? The game was, you were, you know, you were sitting there, you know, spending 24 hours on a resource base, right? And they come in here and steal your stuff. And then they talk crap to you afterwards, right?
That happened to me 6 years ago. A guy sunk my fleet on a mine, yeah, and every time I see him, I'll still do his base.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like right afterwards, I went, you know, all those people that did that, I went and just kept on leveling their bases, you know. All those people that did it and talk crap, well, the ones that talk crap to me. Otherwise, it didn't matter as much. But those people that talk crap to me, yeah, I had issues with them. I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm just, you know, going back like 7 or 8 years as far as gameplay.
But no, the point is, it was fun, and we didn't feel under pressure. The pressure that we feel now to go out and get everything that there is out there. There's so much out there, and you know, it's so much demand. The TLCs, the FMs, so much content in it, you know, and big numbers. It's big as well, and the amount of pressure. It's just time, isn't it? You know, what I mean, the amount of time that they're asking to give to this game to either to stay relevant or to grow. You know? And they need to look at that. They really need to look at that, because if you want to get new players in, all right, maybe a new player will come in and he'll give it a go for a few weeks or a month, and then he thinks, "Wow, this is just eating up my family life," you know, and like, you know, and you start to lose them again, you know.
They don't need new players while the old addicts are still reacting in the kicks.
Well, that pool of coin is imploding. You know, what I mean, it's ever decreasing, isn't it? You know, what I mean, there's not new coiners coming along to replace them.
There are.
I don't think there's enough. You know what I mean? I really don't. I can't see it happening. I mean, you know, we move around as an alliance every couple of weeks, and we keep seeming to bump into the same people wherever we go. Now,
where are you basing this on in terms of whole game play? You know, there's guys just talking about people who get to the top of the tree in PvE in the events. We had a guy in our alliance. He quit, scrapped his base. I watched him do it, and he said, "I stripped." He had, you know, he didn't hit bases. He was very much into defense and PvE, and I stripped him of all his medals because he dropped out the alliance. He had nothing left. 1 billion points last event.
Yeah.
The money he must have spent was phenomenal to get up to become relevant, to do the raid, get the fleets to do it, and then to achieve those points. And no doubt he's building his base up back to get, you know, to what pleases him, which is doing defense.
But
if you have this, what we're saying is, if all this pressure, we're all admitting there's the pressure and the chores. and the time taken up. And that'll only increase as long as there are an element who are increasing their spending as a resolution to keeping up with it. So while you compact the amount spending, if you're drawing more money out of those that are spending, you've got a no loss scenario. You know, even if it gets to the point where they can drop a server because there's less players. If they're all spending more money, that even though there's less of them, has that then saved them money because they're not running another server?
So everyone has a limited budget. Everyone gets a cut-off point where they go, "This is enough," and that's scratch his base. You know what I mean? He probably should. This is enough. I haven't got the time, the money, or the patience for this anymore. You know. And is there another big coiner in there to replace him? And they're not coming through. That's the point. They're not coming through. We need to replane towers. We need to make them grow. You know, we need to retain them, make them grow, yeah, and get them to grow, and maybe introduce them to some light coining or whatever, yeah. But we need to keep them, you know, and that's it.
If that's the overall plan, you know, my fold the game when Flash finishes tin hat hasn't been hung up yet.
What Kickseye needs to realize is today's low player is potentially tomorrow's coiners.
Exactly. But if you put too much pressure on them and lose them at the early stage, you've lost that, you know.
Right. And how can a new player get titanium, uranium, and base parts? They can't, even with preps, really.
Yeah. And sometimes it becomes hard even for the higher players to be able to prep for the lower players because the amount of time constraints that are imposed upon us just to do our own stuff, you know.
Exactly. I mean, I got a level 67 in my ally. He cannot get base parts without preps. He can't get titanium or uranium. Well, no, he can't get any of that now without preps. But
he can coin it himself through the daily offers. And I'm not saying that's a great solution or one I recommend, but the option is there. So if he straight away signified to Kickseye what type of player he is and whether they're interested in his business.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because he's chosen not to coin, he's a lesser interest to them than somebody who has, will coin.
Right. Well, he has coined some, not a lot, but some. And he can't even do the weekly right now because there's no targets available for him to hit.
Now, I want to say as an alliance leader, yeah, and I've been alliance leaders before, and like the idiots voted me the leader of this alliance a couple of months ago, yeah. But the point is not all our players are coiners, okay? All those players make up the alliance and make the community that keeps the rest of us playing. You know, if they weren't on there for chat, if they weren't on there just to interact with socially while you're going out and doing chores and things like that, you know, a lot of us would have left a long time ago. You know, it's that community that keeps us bound together. You know, because it's definitely not kicks. You know, it's that community that keeps us here. So it's not all about coining. You've got to make the game where free players can still achieve something if they put a bit of effort in, a bit of grinding. You know, the players that coin more just get it faster. They get that. They just get access to stuff faster. That's all. You know, I think everything.
Guys, I got to run. She's all next week.
The ball.
See you, Toxic.
See you, Toxic.
Nice meeting you.
Yes, I'm here, but
Take care, Tox.
Bye.
By most players over time. But obviously, the ones that are willing to pay money get it faster. They get the bonus. That's what they paid the money for. You know.
Yeah. But
the others know that they could get it if they just grind a little bit longer, work a little bit harder. You know.
Yeah.
It's available. You know.
Well, the ally mate I'm talking about, he's willing to grind. He just can't get the fleets to do the stuff to grind, it seems like. I mean, he can't even kill a level 40 Forsaken mission target for some reason. He's
And he's at
trying-
what level?
he's 52 now.
And he can't kill a level 40.
I mean,
Send him into the 111s to kill kill the little blocker at the bottom. I've seen people doing that with marauders.
3,000 points, roughly.
all right, so pinning them. Yeah, we kind of frown on that, but I'll tell him to do that.
Well, if you want a workaround, that's a workaround. Then he'll not be far off getting punishes. Then he'll be able to do the 40s or more or higher.
Yeah. I'll tell him to do that. That's all I can do. You know, he's willing to grind it. And that's the type of player Kicks needs, is ones that's willing to do the grinding, not the ones that just want to hand me this now.
He's still only any good. He's still only any good if he gets to the point where he's ground himself into a position that he feels competitive, and then he gets competitive and wants to stay competitive. Because then he will have to coin. Because nobody can retain any level of competitiveness for free.
Nah, well,
Yeah.
At the very least, you've got to be retired and be able to commit the hours. You know.
yeah.
I mean, I'm quite fortunate. I work from home all the time. So I go out, I shoot a couple of times a week. The other 5 days, I'm sitting here in front of my computers. So, you know, I can be flipping around between stuff. So I do get a lot of time at home. You know, for guys that have got to go out and do and go to work, yeah, it's going to be hard for them to put the time in and have family time. You know, because of the amount they're asking us to do. Not spending money and being competitive. As I said earlier, I think those that do pay, that do coin, get the advantage to get stuff first. Those that can put in the time and grind a bit would get it a little bit later, but they would still be up there and able to get the stuff that they need to continue playing the game and moving forward. You know, that's how the game needs to be balanced. That gives us a better balance, yeah. And then if you're willing to pay a little bit, you get early access to something. You know, if you pay the premium, you know, and that's in all case scenarios in other, not just in a game. You know, you pay a premium for early access to something. But nobody should be locked out of being able to get anything. And it's not about everybody saying, you know, level 50s thinking they should have the top stuff and things like that. It's just that eventually they should be able to get there.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it's, yeah. As far as what level and whatnot, it's tricky. I don't think they've gotten there yet. And I think they've admitted that they don't feel the game is ready to bring in new players. At least when G. Rakin was involved, you know, they didn't think that the game was ready for new players. It was so broken at that point. So that's a tricky part of it as well.
Every time you add a new tier, you just move those newer players further away from the more fun end.
Yeah.
Because grinding's not fun to anybody. You know, I mean, I've got an alt, and they were out. It's behind, but it was able to hit one full S set per day in the raid, and it needed to repair. It was quite fun driving to the point where I made sure my fleet could survive, so that I got the completion. You know, but I'd achieved 10 million points in 10 minutes, whereas doing, you know, imagine sitting doing that as a level 50, 10 million points to get anything decent. To reduce your time, to increase your fun. It's a mountain. I'd never start all over again.
No, I could not want to start from you know, from a level 20, 30 base now, and trying to come through and tackle a raid or tackle anything, bounty or anything. You know, it's just you wouldn't be able to hit nothing. You got no chance. You know.
No, I would not start over again. Hell, given how the game is now, I would have never started when I did if I knew how it was going to go.
But don't get me wrong, I love the game. Still love the game. Yeah, it's just, and we all know there's elements of it that need working on. It needs balancing, needs tweaking. Yeah, you know, so much of it. But so many times they never listen to the players, and the players who've been playing for so long and got so much experience and know when it was good and know when it's bad again. You know, but don't do that. Don't, you know, try and make it go this way because this is what we like. Now, not all players are the same. You know,
yeah.
For the majority of players are balanced. Most of us were in here for Battle Pirates. That was a base hitting game. You know, and I only see doing the PvE as a means to allow me to do PvP. You know,
that's how it should be. PvE, aka Forsaken Mission, should allow you to earn the stuff to do the PvE and progress in the game. I mean,
the Forsaken Mission should not be difficult for anybody.
Right.
That should be basically that's your access to be able to get the stuff that you need to be able to play the game, to grow and develop in the game. Yeah, and that was the original, I think, idea of the Forsaken Mission. It was to allow catch up because we never used to have that. You know, there was no FM when we started. Most of us anyway, and so that would allow everyone to catch up with the tech that they didn't have. So making it difficult, making it hard, making the targets hard, it's negatively impacted the game. It stopped players' development and it stopped players coming through, you know, because it is too hard and they give up.
Yeah. The PvE should be your training ground.
Yeah.
Into the PvP is what I'm saying.
I say to players, look, make sure you can feed yourself first, yeah? Make sure you can get everything that you need, you know, like all the res and the different stuff that you need. Because unfortunately at the moment, PvP is a luxury.
Yes. Yes.
You know, you must be able to feed yourself first. You know, you must be able to that ability great. Then, and only then are you ready to start taking on PvP, you know. And it's the same like base first, you know, blah, blah, blah. Be able to feed yourself. And from there on, you can grow and develop, you know. But if they make PvP difficult, you lock people out of everything, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm at a level where I really enjoy PvP. I have since day one. Hell, my wife used to yell at me, "Stop hitting her base." But
wow. Was that in the bedroom or is this in the game?
in game.
Okay, just making sure. Go ahead.
PvE has its place in the game too, and it should be the training ground.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can learn to drive your fleets, you know. You learn to control your fleets. You learn to get, and you pick up the stuff that you need to take you to PvP. You know,
what is it with you guys and thinking that that's the apex of the game? There's people out there who don't want PvP at all.
Well, they don't have to. Nobody can force them to do it afterwards.
But then it doesn't need PvE needs its own challenge then.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
and they don't. You're forgetting again that all the guys that top out on PvE to get their PvP kit. That's why the PvE content has gone up because they want ever more stuff.
Yeah, 1 billion points.
It's feeding the whales, tons and tons of krill per day. Mm-hmm. That's what they're after, and that's where the money comes from. So it's the same people driving the PvE forward because of their wants for PvP.
I mean, I've been in the top 5 a few times on the world leaderboard in raids. You know, the point is now I just get what I need. You know what I mean? Because I don't care about me. I'm not going to go out and spend money on points I can't spend. You know,
People always have.
just to have my name up there for a day or two. You know what I mean?
You know, there was a lot of, at least recently, and I don't see the point. Don't get me wrong, but at least recently, people have been able to get 1 billion points and spend 1 billion points.
Yeah.
Whereas the norm before that was very much you needed let's say 20 or 50 million if you had everything apart from the new stuff, and there was still people getting hundreds of millions just to have their name on the board. That's their choice, you know.
Well, this is it.
That floats their boat. But the feedback to Kicks is, oh look, that's how easy it is. That's what people are willing to spend, and then they adjust the mechanics accordingly.
Well, Kickstarter pushed it, didn't they? You know. Anyway, I mean, they're doing it. I mean, they said if everyone gets X amount of points, everyone gets a free 1 day build token. You know what I mean? They got their maths wrong on that, which is not unusual for Kickstarter. You know, so they underestimated the original amount that people needed to get by about 1,000 times.
I don't think it was designed to be a challenge at all. It was a gimme.
Yeah, but
I think if we couldn't know what figures they were basing it on as to exactly how many took part in the raid.
Yeah, I agree. We were never told about this. As far as the details, there's no update. There's no like, okay, we're getting more at this point or whatnot. There was nothing to really. That was bullshit as far as in my
it was a nice way. It was a nice way of saying, here's a free gift, but we're going to make you feel like you've earned it.
Yeah. But I agree with that. But I also am I'm thinking we've gone for 2 hours 40. We're out close to 3 minutes. You guys are 3 hours. You guys realize when TSM gives me he once he goes to 2 hours he's like, oh FA, we're doing good. But at this point I'm like, should we go to the after show?
Yeah, sorry guys, it's been long. It's my first time on here, and there was a lot of things I wanted to say as well. I've watched the shows for years, and sorry if I've dragged it out a bit. So, yeah.
No, it's all good. I'm just saying, at this point, should we go to the after show? Because it's like, personally, me, I get worn out. I walked away, I come back, but yeah, it's 3 hours. It's close to 3 hours that I've been.
I think we've talked a lot of it out.
Yeah. I just get fucking worn out.
Yeah.
Get us win bags up.
And Rom's not even talking anymore.
All right. Well, I guess I'll do a closing statement for me personally. The things I hope from Kicksite is they stabilize the game, balance it as well as they can, and bring player creativity back into the game.
Yep. Creativity, less chores. So just get it. Just to keep relevant, because if you miss something, if you miss a few chores, you can drop so far behind. But players just go, oh, you know what, I can't keep up with more, I'm off. If you go on holiday for a week, you come back next week and you're you're behind so far.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah.
And that's somebody that's played for 6 years goes on holiday for a week, comes back, and all of a sudden they find that they're not relevant anymore. That's crazy,
Well, that happened at the end of this last raid. I mean, if you're anywhere near the top for hitting bases and defending, if you miss this last raid, you're out.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to end the show before we get to 3 hours, and TSM gets upset that I'm pissing on his parade as far as going to 2 hours. So I don't want to get to that. So you're all welcome to the after show. I'm going to put a link. And anybody else would like to join in the after show, we're going to be closing down the YouTube live.
Link.
And
One other thing. One
see
other
you.
Oh,
Go ahead.
having us tonight.
What? One more thing. What's the one more thing? Go ahead.
Thanks for having us tonight and
Oh,
letting
okay.
me be part of this.
yeah. I mean, I've really enjoyed it. To say I've been playing this game for, since early 2012, and it's been nice to the first time ever to go on a show and have a chat, and about my experiences and feeling of the game and how I feel it's impacting on everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we had the Friday night shows are about players that don't have a voice. We're trying to get players that want to come on and explain how they feel about the game. That's really because if you watch me on the Wednesday show or the Friday show, I don't like to hear myself talk. I've been playing the game for a long time. That's not why that's not why I do it. I'm trying to create a conduit so players can talk to players and we can talk about what we like about the game and what we don't like about the game.
But don't want it to be negative. I want to be positive. I'm a leader of alliance. I want it to all be excited about what's happening. You know what I mean? You don't want it to be the voice of doom every bloody week. You know what I mean? As such, you want it to go bang, bang, bang. Yeah, this is exciting. This is coming up. Yeah, rather than oh god, no, that again. You want to keep them motivated. And keep my bloody self motivated. Anyway, go on. Sorry if you guys want to move on and go to the after show.
Yeah, no, we're gonna go to the after show. And okay, well, thanks everybody for showing up, and I'm gonna put the link one more time in case anybody would like to join, and we'll be there. And say good night, everybody.
Good night.